Hey, you guys ready for an angry PJ? I'm gonna try and keep it calm, but I'm gonna be angry. I'm definitely getting angry. I gotta stop smoking. Okay. How did I look? Welcome back to the channel. Today we talk about disgraced former reporter slash journalist, and I use those two terms very broadly, Don Lemon, who decided it was a good idea to turn into what I would classify, and I'm going to defend here, as a terrorist. Let me expand on that. Here is Don Lemon. People say he's been leading people into a church. That's not the case. But he participated in it, and that makes him just as culpable. But let's listen in his own words to what he thinks he's doing there.
Watch this guy here. Look, he's hugging his kid. And, you know, I've imagined it's uncomfortable and traumatic for the people here. But again, careful, it's very slippery.
Uncomfortable and traumatic. Interesting choice of words there.
Right here. Yeah. It's uncomfortable and traumatic for the people here, but that's what really, careful, please, really slippery. Not kidding. That's what protesting is about. And so, watch this guy here.
So, protesting is about creating traumatic memories for children, apparently. Children such as this little kid right here that's absolutely terrified from all of the wild animals that entered his church, all of the terrorists that thought it was a good idea to go into a private a private space. Because here's the thing, right? Don Lemon thinks, and he said as much, that he went into a public space. There's this thing called the separation of state and church in America, which precludes fully any involvement of the state. The state and the religious authority has to be two completely separate entities, which by its very definition makes a church not a public space. The fact the public is allowed in does not make it a public space. It is privately owned. Fully. Not a public space. First of all. So Don Lemon thought it was a good idea to join a fringe group of radical animals into terrorizing these people during their Sunday worship, because reasons. He's harassing people. He's like literally going around asking questions, acting like he's a journalist. Meanwhile, he was, before this all happened, with the people. He went in with the people. He was there before they started this action. During this action was there, and then like this guy participated in this protest unquestionably. What I wanted you to see, I'm going to play this entire 4-minute clip. I'll probably pause it a couple of times. But this guy is basically every literal normal person on the planet that's looking at what is happening here, right? And then you have the terroristic propagandist on the other side who will throw out bullshit and try and propagandize to this person. And then he harasses him.
into our house, and they've interrupted our worship. This is a house of peace, and we try to proclaim that. And this stirs division and rancor. And in the end, it's not helpful. Ultimately, I believe they've lost. They've emptied a house of worship. Everybody's gone home. Their point has been proven worthless. And so, in the end, I think they lose. But more importantly, if I was to break into any of their houses uninvited, cause derision and upset according to their values, I would be kicked out ultimately. It's not a good way. I feel violated. I feel interrupted. I feel angry.
May I ask you something?
Let's pause it here. This is the most measured, calm, well-explained man I've seen in any of these videos, okay? This guy is the picture of serenity and trying to like stay calm and explain exactly, you know, how he feels about this, etc. Meanwhile, you have the retards in the back just like we're gonna stay calm for this video. I'm not gonna use expletives because then I have to cut all of that stuff out, and I hate doing that. So the contrast is already absolutely hilarious, right? I want to make something very clear, right? I have been throughout my life a fervent atheist. Recently, I've been becoming a little bit more agnostic. That said, I still think organized religion is probably not that good of an idea, right? In my opinion, don't get me wrong. So I want you to know that I'm not coming at this from an angle of like, oh, my religious brethren are under attack or any of that absolute tribalist nonsense, okay? Not even remotely. I do not believe in any way, shape, or form in the Christian doctrine. I do not believe in any religious doctrine that exists on this planet. Not even an iota. I want to make that very clear. And then, right there, I'm also going to say, if you do this, if you go into a place of worship, if you go into someone's, I want to say private space, it's allowed for the public. You can come in as a non-Christian. You can like visit churches. You can look at churches. You can join masses, etc. They would love nothing more, obviously, because they get a chance to basically convert you, right? They love that. However, that doesn't mean you have a right to just go in there and cause havoc and just act like a wild animal. Not even remotely. So this guy now is being super measured and basically explained exactly that. Like, you came into a house of worship, which is normally, right? I don't want to say a very private thing. Like, religion is a private thing. Not the guy next to him might somewhat believe different stuff than this guy, etc. But they're all in, you know, they're all together in a celebration, I suppose, of their faith. And in comes a bunch of radical freaks shouting and yelling, scaring the children, intimidating, which is the important one here. And according to Don Lemon, traumatizing, especially the children, which equally important. And apparently for Don Lemon, that's perfectly acceptable. So let's listen to the question this. Ooh, we're gonna stay calm. This freak of nature, this garbage human, has to ask of this perfectly reasonable, upstanding citizen.
When you were saying if you had showed up at their house, they're saying that people are showing up at houses where they're citizens or without due process and breaking and entering their house. One that we saw, I've been watching from New York, with a battering ram into someone's private property, and there's no recourse. There's no, you understand what I'm saying?
This is all
irrelevant. Completely, utterly, totally irrelevant. What do these people have anything to do with that? Now I'll let him explain in his own words later why he thinks this was a good thing. And it's exactly what you think it is, by the way. It's exactly what you think a disgusting, low-life, terroristic subhuman would say. Like, it's exactly what you think. You already know what he's gonna say, right? You already know exactly what he's gonna say, okay? Because these people are caricatures. They're not real human beings. They don't have the mental capacity to be a real human being.
Part of a much larger dialogue, in my opinion. You know, on one side.
Can we talk about how big of a this bee looks, right? Imagine looking like this and being so confident about it. Ooh. Ooh. Yikes. Maybe put a bag over your head, lady. You do the rest of the world a giant favor by putting a bag over your head.
Are people who watched a previous administration bring 12 million people in over the course of 4 years.
Sorry, isn't this supposed to be a white bee thing, right? I feel like this is supposed to be also white power. Is that not? Am I the bad guy here? Why are all these people proclaiming they're white supremacists? Moving on.
And many of them undocumented, many of them criminals, etc. This is another administration.
Was that a guy or a girl? I don't even know. Lady, no one understands what you're saying because you're screeching like an unhinged freak. Articulate your words.
Administration's a corrective. Now, whether you agree with the policies or procedures, I think I could actually be sympathetic to some of the things where there have been challenges to action and decency.
That's his end.
At the same time, these are what are called targeted interventions by ICE to keep the American people safe.
If I respectfully may interject here, I've been...
This guy has been super measured. He even said like, well, and I'm going to add the caveat that I think he's not saying, but it's definitely true. Before you came into my church and harassed me, tried to intimidate our children, traumatized our children, maybe I would have agreed with some of your points. But now that I can see what freak wild animals you people are, I'm gonna rethink my I'm gonna rethink my thoughts about this whole thing, because this is I don't think this lowlife understands what's going on here. You are showing the world exactly the kind of ilk that you people are, and I guarantee you the vast majority are looking at you like you're some kind of wild animal that we have to put in a cage and put on a leash. Because guess what? That's exactly what you are.
Out reporting on a lot of these, and they're not targeted. There are no warrants signed by a judge, let me finish. And they're American citizens, many of them. Most of the people that they detain don't have criminal convictions or criminal records.
I'm not going.
So this gives me the right to go into a place of public worship, to disrupt their worship, to stop them from worshiping. Super fucking illegal, by the way. Oh, damn it, I did it. Well, that's gonna have to be bleeped. Super illegal, by the way. They're throwing the book at this rich, and they should. This guy needs to be going to jail. Like, he literally committed, in my opinion, a terroristic act. You went into a place of worship to intimidate, to traumatize, which is literal violence. This is classified as violence in an effort to push your political beliefs through. This is the literal definition of terrorism. This guy is, in my opinion, a terrorist and should be charged as such.
To get into the weeds.
But you should know that, though. Don't you think that's part of it?
Yes, and I could also show you many opposing sides where we're also picking up the very criminals that have put Americans in danger and I'm not saying it's pretty. I'm not saying it's not messy. I'm not saying it couldn't be better. I'm saying this is a part of a much larger dialogue in which one administration caused a great deal of chaos and havoc and danger for American citizens, and another is trying to correct that.
Do you believe that? Why? Honestly,
Okay,
let me talk to you
listen,
just on
you're
the
not
facts.
a journalist.
Yes, I am. I want to give you the facts.
No.
Did you know?
Don, not a journalist, Lemon. He's definitely not a journalist. He's a disgraced fraud that was fired from his job at CNN. CNN. Do you know how terrible you have to be at your job to be fired from CNN as a gay black man? Dwell on that. Now, I want to point out the guy clearly indicates this conversation is over. Anything from here on out is pure harassment and should be factored into the terroristic threat that he already did.
That undocumented people and immigrants
harassment,
commit far less crime than American
harassment,
citizens.
literally following him outside.
Than natural-born
The guy
Americans.
said we're done here at least 5 times already.
It is.
Give me facts.
It
I would have
is.
a
Oh my
conversation.
god, guys. Why won't you listen to my
Because
facts?
he doesn't want to listen to facts. That's the
Pure harassment. This guy needs to be in a box where he belongs, where all the wild animals belong.
interesting thing about this is that they won't listen to facts.
I just
And
don't, no.
You won't because
when you
because
pose
there's
as a journalist,
I am a
and you
journalist.
ask me
Journalists give
questions,
facts.
and then you start correcting me with facts, and don't have.
You shouldn't hear the facts.
Of course,
that
I should
most of
hear
the people
facts.
who are picked up
but
are
will you
not-
give me the
have
facts
no-
on both sides?
That is an outright lie, by the way. Most of the people, he said most of the people who are picked up are not the targets of what they're looking for. That is not the case at all. Even the freaks that broke into the car of the ICE agents, what did they pull out? Oh, a list with a bunch of names and warrants. Oh, weird. Weird how that works, right? It's kind of weird that these guys have lists and names when they're just randomly picking people up off the street.
That is the facts on both
These
sides.
people are their own worst enemy.
Most of the people who are picked up and are
He's still
detained
following
are
this guy.
not
He is
convic-
still
have no
following him.
criminal convictions.
This is pure harassment. Don Lemon needs to be in a box.
They have no
And
criminal
I don't
record.
mean that he needs to be killed. I mean he needs to be locked up legally. This is wildly illegal. He's done a million illegal things already. And one of them, in my opinion, constitutes terrorism. At the literal definition of the words. He did a political action that intimidated, that traumatized. His own words. His own words. He traumatized them, he intimidated them in an effort to change political beliefs. That is literally terrorism. Don Lemon, in my opinion, is a terrorist, and he needs to be charged as such.
None. That
We're getting
immigrants
heated.
commit far less crime than
He's still
native-born
harassing him.
Americans. So they won't listen to the facts. Anyways, these folks are still out here.
Hard-hitting journalism here, guys. Now, of course, after all this came out, and apparently he is going to be charged, unfortunately not with terrorism, even though I think that's a slam dunk, in my opinion. But whatever. Here we have some freak on the left interviewing Don Lemon and how he thinks, oh, well, they deserve it because white supremacy. I'm not even joking, dude. Like the guy we just saw, apparently white supremacist. Super measured, calm, trying to be like really respectful. Yeah, that guy's the white supremacist.
And there's a certain degree of entitlement. I think people who are, in the religious groups like that, it's not the type of Christianity that I practice, but I
No, because the type of Christianity you practice allows for terrorism, apparently.
think that they're entitled, and that entitlement comes from a supremacy, a white supremacy. And they think that this country was built for them, that it is a Christian country, when actually we left England because we wanted religious freedom. It's religious freedom, but only if you're a Christian and only if you're a white male, pretty much. And so, yeah, I absolutely 100%, but it's an intimidation tactic. And, I said, I don't understand how I've become the face of it when I was a journalist. I do understand that I'm the biggest name there. And I'm also, as I was on with my producers this morning, you and Kylie talk all the time. My producers were saying, I said, how did I become the face of this? And my producer said, Don, you're a gay black man in America.
I told you, I told you would know exactly what his excuse would be, dude. White supremacism, homophobia. These people are unreal, bro. How can you be this moronic and you're still breathing? That just goes to show you how amazing the society is that we live in. That somebody with less than 2 brain cells can make it into adult life, even was on the actual television as a news anchor. big air quotes on that one. For many years, and he hasn't been naturally selected yet. You know what I mean? Like, bro, 1,000 years ago, this guy wouldn't have reached fucking 12 years old, dude. Like, you needed some form of self-preservation to become 12 years old. Like, I cannot believe how dumb these people are, man. Like, you commit crimes on camera, you record them, you literally post them yourself to the internet. Like and subscribe, The Don Lemon Show. But you think there's not gonna be repercussions for your nonsense bullshit? You've committing criminal acts there, dude. And in my opinion, as I said, a terroristic act. By the literal definition of the word terrorism. Violence for political change. You admitted yourself, intimidation and trauma. That constitutes violence. Yeah, that's how that works. Sorry. Don Lemon, in my opinion, I've said it again. I'm gonna say it again, is a terrorist, and you should put this guy in a box. Now, thankfully, it does appear that he's going to see repercussions for this, because everyone is mad about this, unless you're like ideologically captured and basically somewhat of a terrorist sympathizer, I suppose. Then you're gonna probably, oh yeah, he's totally right. It's totally homophobia and white supremacy, guys. Right? It's not the freaks running into a private place, harassing, intimidating, traumatizing people. No, those are the good guys. Those are the good guys. The guys purity testing people in the streets, those are the good guys. Those are not the fascists. No. I mean, they're exactly what happened in 1930, but we don't talk about that. We're liberals, we're leftists. We don't care about what's true. Okay? That's it. That's my my defense of why I say Don Lemon is and should be charged as a terrorist, in my opinion. Leave your thoughts, comments down below. Peace the hell out. See you on the next one. Too much? Question mark? I said one fuck. I'm gonna have to mute that. I can't put the word terrorist in the title though, because that'll definitely get me blacklisted. I'm gonna put terrorist on the thumbnail. Don Lemon breaks the law. Okay, sorry. I had an email that was important that I just need to read. Okay, sorry. Welcome back to the channel. Today we talk about disgraced former reporter slash journalist, and I use those two terms very broadly, Don Lemon, who decided it was a good idea to turn into what I would classify, and I'm going to defend here, as a terrorist. Let me expand on that. Here is Don Lemon. People say he's been leading people into a church. That's not the case. But he participated in it, and that makes him just as culpable. But let's listen in his own words to what he thinks he's doing there.
Watch this guy here. Look, he's hugging his kid. And, you know, I imagine it's uncomfortable and traumatic for the people here. But again, careful, it's very slippery.
Uncomfortable and traumatic. Interesting choice of words there.
Right here. It's uncomfortable and traumatic for the people here, but that's what really, careful, please, really slippery. Not kidding. That's what protesting is about. And so, watch this guy here.
So, protesting is about creating traumatic memories for children, apparently. Children such as this little kid right here that's absolutely terrified from all of the wild animals that entered his church, all of the terrorists that thought it was a good idea to go into a private a private space. Because here's the thing, right? Don Lemon thinks, and he said as much, that he went into a public space. There's this thing called the separation of state and church in America, which precludes fully any involvement of the state. The state and the religious authority has to be two completely separate entities, which by its very definition makes a church not a public space. The fact the public is allowed in does not make it a public space. It is privately owned. Fully. Not a public space. First of all. So Don Lemon thought it was a good idea to join a fringe group of radical animals into terrorizing these people during their Sunday worship, because reasons. He's harassing people. He's like literally going around asking questions, acting like he's a journalist. Meanwhile, he was too much question mark. This all happened with the people. He went in with the people. He was there before they started this action. During this action was there, and then like this guy participated in this protest unquestionably. What I wanted you to see, I'm going to play this entire 4-minute clip. I'll probably pause it a couple of times. But this guy is basically every literal normal person on the planet that's looking at what is happening here, right? And then you have the terroristic propagandist on the other side who will throw out bullshit and try and propagandize to this person. And then he harasses him.
Into our house, and they've interrupted our worship. This is a house of peace, and we try to proclaim that. And this stirs division and rancor. And in the end, it's not helpful. Ultimately, I believe they've lost. They've emptied a house of worship. Everybody's gone home. Their point has been proven worthless. And so, in the end, I think they lose. But more importantly, if I was to break into any of their houses uninvited, cause derision and upset according to their values, I would be kicked out ultimately. It's not a good way. I feel violated. I feel interrupted. I feel angry.
May I ask you something?
Let's pause it here. This is the most measured, calm, well-explained man I've seen in any of these videos, okay? This guy is the picture of serenity and trying to like stay calm and explain exactly, you know, how he feels about this, etc. Meanwhile, you have the retards in the back just like like we're gonna stay calm for this video. I'm not gonna use expletives because then I have to cut all of that stuff out, and I hate doing that. So the contrast is already absolutely hilarious, right? I want to make something very clear, right? I have been throughout my life a fervent atheist. Recently, I've been becoming a little bit more agnostic. That said, I still think organized religion is probably not that good of an idea, right? In my opinion, don't get me wrong. So I want you to know that I'm not coming at this from an angle of like, oh, my religious brethren are under attack or any of that absolute tribalist nonsense, okay? Not even remotely. I do not believe in any way, shape, or form in the Christian doctrine. I do not believe in any religious doctrine that exists on this planet. Not even an iota. I want to make that very clear. And then, right there, I'm also going to say, if you do this, if you go into a place of worship, if you go into someone's, I want to say private space, it's allowed for the public. You can come in as a non-Christian. You can like visit churches. You can look at churches. You can join masses, etc. They would love nothing more, obviously, because they get a chance to basically convert you, right? They love that. However, that doesn't mean you have a right to just go in there and cause havoc and just act like a wild animal. Not even remotely. So this guy now is being super measured and basically explained exactly that. Like, you came into a house of worship, which is normally, right? I don't want to say a very private thing. Like, religion is a private thing. Not the guy next to him might somewhat believe different stuff than this guy, etc. But they're all in, they're all together in a celebration, I suppose, of their faith. And in comes a bunch of radical freaks shouting and yelling, scaring the children, intimidating, which is the important one here. And according to Don Lemon, traumatizing, especially the children, which equally important. And apparently for Don Lemon, that's perfectly acceptable. So let's listen to the question this. Ooh, we're gonna stay calm. This freak of nature, this garbage human, has to ask of this perfectly reasonable, upstanding citizen.
When you were saying if you had showed up at their house, they're saying that people are showing up at houses where they're citizens
Yes.
or without due process
Yes.
and breaking and entering the house.
Yes.
One that we saw, I've been watching from New York, with a battering ram into someone's private property, and
Yes.
there's no recourse.
Yes.
There's no, you understand what I'm saying?
This is all
Irrelevant. Completely, utterly, totally irrelevant. What do these people have anything to do with that? Now I'll let him explain in his own words later why he thinks this was a good thing. And it's exactly what you think it is, by the way. It's exactly what you think a disgusting, low-life, terroristic subhuman would say. Like, it's a... Should I leave that in? Should I leave the subhuman in? It is YouTube. Yes. It's a fellow low-life terroristic sub. Subhuman. Subhuman. I'll be nice. Terroristic would say, like, it's exactly what you think. You already know what he's gonna say, right? You already know exactly what he's gonna say, okay? Because these people are caricatures. They're not real human beings. They don't have the mental capacity to be a real human being.
part of a much larger dialogue, in my opinion.
Can we talk about how big of a this bee looks? Right? That's kind of funny. That's a good one. Imagine looking like this and being so confident about it. Ooh. Ooh. Yikes. Maybe put a bag over your head, lady. You do the rest of the world a giant favor by putting a bag over your head.
Are people who watched a previous administration bring 12 million people in over the course of 4 years.
Sorry, isn't this supposed to be a white beating, right? I feel like this is supposed to be also white power. Is that not? Am I the bad guy here? Why are all these people proclaiming they're white supremacists? Moving on.
And many of them undocumented, many of them criminals, etc. This is another administration.
Was that a guy or a girl? I don't even know. Oh, no, we don't know. Or a girl. Yeah, I get it. Moving on.
And many of them undocumented, many of them criminals, etc. This is another administration.
Was that a guy or a girl? I don't even know. I didn't see her the first time, I'll be honest. Lady, no one understands what you're saying because you're screeching like an unhinged freak. Articulate your words.
Administration's a corrective. Now, whether you agree with the policies or procedures, I think I could actually be sympathetic to some of the things where there have been challenges to fashion and decency.
That's his end.
At the same time, these are what are called targeted interventions by ICE to keep the American people safe.
If I respectfully may interject here, I've been out.
This guy has been super measured. He even said like, well, and I'm going to add the caveat that I think he's not saying, but it's definitely true. Before you came into my church and harassed me, tried to intimidate our children, traumatized our children, maybe I would have agreed with some of your points. But now that I can see what freak wild animals you people are, I'm gonna rethink my I'm gonna rethink my thoughts about this whole thing, because this is I don't think this lowlife understands what's going on here. You are showing the world exactly the kind of ilk that you people are, and I guarantee you the vast majority are looking at you like you're some kind of wild animal that we have to put in a cage and put on a leash. Because guess what? That's exactly what you are.
Out reporting on a lot of these, and they're not targeted. There are no warrants signed by a judge, let me finish. And they're American citizens, many of them. Most of the people that they detain don't have criminal convictions or criminal records.
I'm not going.
So this gives me the right to go into a place of public worship, to disrupt their worship, to stop them from worshiping. Super fucking illegal, by the way. Oh, damn it, I did it. Well, that's gonna have to be bleeped.
There are no warrants signed by a judge. American citizens don't have criminal.
So this gives me the right to go into a place of public worship, to disrupt their worship, to stop them from worshiping. Super fucking worshiping. Super illegal, by the way. Oh, damn it, I did it. Well, that's gonna have to be bleeped. Super illegal, by the way. They're throwing the book at this rich, and they should. This guy needs to be going to jail. Like, he literally committed, in my opinion, a terroristic act. You went into a place of worship to intimidate, to traumatize, which is literal violence. This is classified as violence, in an effort to push your political beliefs through. This is the literal definition of terrorism. This guy is, in my opinion, a terrorist and should be charged as such.
To get into the weeds. This is
But
a
you should know that, though. Don't you think that's part of it?
Yes, and I could also show you many opposing sides where we're also picking up the very criminals that have put Americans in danger. And I'm not saying it's pretty. I'm not saying it's not messy. I'm not saying it couldn't be better. I'm saying this is a part of a much larger dialogue in which one administration caused a great deal of chaos and havoc and danger for American citizens, and another is trying to correct that.
Do you believe that? Why? Honestly,
Okay,
let me talk to you
listen,
just on
you're
the
not
facts.
a journalist.
Yes, I am. I want to give you the facts.
No.
Did you know?
Tom, not a journalist, Lemon. He's definitely not a journalist. He's a disgrace.
It couldn't be better. Show you many opposing sides.
To intimidate, to traumatize, to intimidate, to a place of worship, to intimidate, illegal, by the way. Oh, damn it, I did it. Well, that's gonna have to be bleeped. Super, super illegal, by the way. They're throwing the book at this Rich, and they should. This guy needs to be going to jail. Like, he literally committed, in my opinion, a terroristic act. You went into a place of worship to intimidate, to traumatize, which is literal violence. This is classified as violence. In an effort to push your political beliefs through. This is the literal definition of terrorism. This guy is, in my opinion, a terrorist and should be charged as such.
To get into the weeds. This is
But you should know that, though. Don't you think that's part of it?
Yes, and I could also show you many.
In an effort to push your political beliefs through. This is the literal definition of terrorism. This guy is, in my opinion, a terrorist and should be charged as such.
To get into the weeds. This is
But you should know that, though. Don't you think that's part of it?
Yes, and I could also show you many opposing sides where we're also picking up the very criminals that have put Americans in danger. And I'm not saying it's pretty. I'm not saying it's not messy. I'm not saying it couldn't be better. I'm saying this is a part of a much larger dialogue in which one administration caused a great deal of chaos and havoc and danger for American citizens, and another is trying to correct that.
Do you believe that? Why? Honestly,
Okay,
let me talk to you
listen,
just on the
you're not
facts.
a journalist.
Yes, I am. I want to give you the facts.
No.
Did you know?
Tom, not a journalist, Lemon. He's definitely not a journalist. He's a disgraced fraud that was fired from his job at CNN. CNN. Do you know how terrible you have to be at your job to be fired from CNN as a gay black man? Dwell on that. Now, I want to point out the guy clearly indicates this conversation is over. Anything from here on out is pure harassment and should be factored into the terroristic threat that he already did.
That undocumented people and immigrants
harassment,
commit far less crime than
harassment,
American
literally following him outside.
natural-born
The guy
Americans.
said we're done here at least 5 times already.
It is.
Give me facts.
It is. Oh my god, guys. Why won't you listen to my
Because
facts?
he doesn't want to listen to facts. That's the interest.
Pure harassment. This guy needs to be in a box where he belongs, where all the wild animals belong.
Interesting thing about this is that they won't listen to facts. And they're
No.
you won't because
when you
because
pose
it's
as a journalist,
I am a
and you
journalist.
ask me
Journalists give
questions,
give
and
facts.
then you start correcting me with facts, and don't have.
You shouldn't hear the facts.
Of course,
that
I should
most
hear
of the people
facts.
who are picked up
but
are
will you
not
give me the
have
facts
no-
on both sides?
That is an outright lie, by the way. Most of the people, he said most of the people who are picked up are not the targets of what they're looking for. That is not the case at all. Even the freaks that broke into the car of the ICE agents, what did they pull out? Oh, a list with a bunch of names and warrants. Oh, weird. Weird how that works, right? It's kind of weird that these guys have lists and names when they're just randomly picking people up off the street.
That is the facts on both
These
sides.
people are their own worst enemy.
Most of the people who are picked up and are
He's still
detained
following
are
this guy.
not
He is
convic-
still
have no
following him.
criminal convictions.
This is pure harassment. Don Lemon needs to be in a box.
They have no
And
criminal
I don't
record.
mean that he needs to be killed. I mean he needs to be locked up legally. This is wildly illegal. He's done a million illegal things already. And one of them, in my opinion, constitutes terrorism. At the literal definition of the words. He did a political action that intimidated, that traumatized. His own words. His own words. He traumatized them, he intimidated them in an effort to change political beliefs. That is literally terrorism. Don Lemon, in my opinion, is a terrorist, and he needs to be charged as such.
None. That
We're getting
immigrants
heated.
commit far less crime than
He's still
native-born
harassing him.
Americans. So they won't listen to the facts. Anyways, these folks are still out here.
Hard-hitting journalism here, guys. Now, of course, after all this came out, and apparently he is going to be charged, unfortunately not with terrorism, even though I think that's a slam dunk in my opinion, but whatever. Here we have some freak on the left interviewing Don Lemon and how he thinks, oh, well, they deserve it because white supremacy. I'm not even joking, dude. Like the guy we just saw, apparently white supremacist. Super measured, calm, trying to be like really respectful. Yeah, that guy's the white supremacist.
And there's a certain degree of entitlement. I think people who are, you know, in the religious groups like that, it's not the type of Christianity that I practice, but I
No, because the type of Christianity you practice allows for terrorism, apparently.
think that they're entitled, and that entitlement comes from a supremacy, a white supremacy. And they think that this country was built for them, that it is a Christian country, when actually we left England because we wanted religious freedom. It's religious freedom, but only if you're a Christian and only if you're a white male, pretty much. So yeah, I absolutely 100%, but it's an intimidation tactic. And, you know, I said, I don't understand how I've become the face of it when I was a journalist. I do understand that I'm the biggest name there. And I'm also, as I was on with my producers this morning, you know, you and Kylie talk all the time. My producers were saying, I said, how did I become the face of this? And my producer said, Don, you're a gay black man in America.
I told you you would know exactly what his excuse would be, dude. White supremacism, homophobia. These people are unreal, bro. How can you be this moronic and you're still breathing? That just goes to show you how amazing the society is that we live in. That somebody with less than 2 brain cells can make it into adult life, even was on the actual television as a news anchor. big air quotes on that one. For many years, and he hasn't been naturally selected yet. You know what I mean? Like, bro, 1,000 years ago, this guy wouldn't have reached fucking 12 years old, dude. Like, you needed some form of self-preservation to become 12 years old. Like, I cannot believe how dumb these people are, man. Like, you commit crimes on camera, you record them, you literally post them yourself to the internet. Like and subscribe, The Don Lemon Show. You think there's not gonna be repercussions for your nonsense bullshit? You've committing criminal acts there, dude. And in my opinion, as I said, a terroristic act. By the literal definition of the word terrorism. Violence for political change. You admitted yourself, intimidation and trauma. That constitutes violence. Yeah, that's how that works. Sorry. Don Lemon, in my opinion, I've said it again. I'm gonna say it again, is a terrorist, and you should put this guy in a box. Now, thankfully, it does appear that he's going to see repercussions for this, because everyone everyone is mad about this, unless you're like ideologically captured and basically somewhat of a terrorist sympathizer, I suppose. Then you're gonna probably, you know, oh yeah, he's totally right. It's totally homophobia and white supremacy, guys. Right? It's not the freaks running into a private place, harassing, intimidating, traumatizing people. No, those are the good guys. Those are the good guys. The guys purity testing people in the streets, those are the good guys. Those are not the fascists. No. I mean, they're exactly what happened in 1930, but we don't talk about that. We're liberals. We're leftists. We don't care about what's true. Okay? That's it. That's my my defense of why I say Don Lemon is and should be charged as a terrorist, in my opinion. Leave your thoughts, comments down below. Peace the hell out. See you on the next one. Okay, hang on.
A lawyer for 35 years, so that's my 2 cents on that, bro.
Well, I appreciate your 2 cents on that, Mr. Attorney General. There, some of the protesters, well, not the directly, Mr. Attorney General. There.
Hey guys, Editing PJ here, real quick. I just found something that I kind of want you guys to see. So, quick. Oh fuck. First of all. No, it's gone. Boom. Hey guys, Editing PJ here. I just found something that I really think you should see. I'm gonna set this up. This is after all of the outrage went down already, and he's talking to an attorney general.
2 cents on that, Mr. Attorney General. There, some of the protesters, well, not the directly, but a friend of a protester reached out and said they're concerned. How concerned should these protesters be?
Oh, you should be very concerned, Don Lemon, because you know he's the one that's concerned. You can see it in his body language. My dude knows he fucked up. My dude knows he's a criminal. My dude knows, ooh, repercussions are coming, my friends. You done effed up. I kinda have to bleep that again. Damn it. That's it. I just wanted to let you see the shit lib just squirm so deliciously. I fucked up. How concerned should I be? Oh, very concerned, motherfucker. Peace. I'm gonna have to bleep that out as well. Fuck. Hey guys. Next one. See you on the next one. Hey guys, Editing PJ here. I just found something that I really think you should see. I'm gonna set this up. This is after all of the outrage went down already, and he's talking to an attorney general.
2 cents on that, Mr. Attorney General. There, some of the protesters, well, not the directly. For 2 cents on that, Mr. Attorney General. There, some of the protesters, well, not the directly, but a friend of a protester reached out and said they're concerned. How concerned should these protesters be?
Oh, you should be very concerned, Don Lemon, because you know he's the one that's concerned. You can see it in his body language. My dude knows he fucked up. My dude knows he's a criminal. My dude knows, ooh, repercussions are coming, my friends. You done effed up. I kinda have to bleep that again. My dude knows he fucked up. My dude knows he fucked up. Dude knows he fucked up. My dude knows he's a criminal. My dude knows. Ooh, repercussions are coming, my friends. You done effed up. I gonna have to bleed that again. Damn it. That's it. I just wanted to let you see the shit lib just squirm so the shit lib just squirm so deliciously. I fucked up. How concerned? Fuck's sake. I fucked up. How concerned should I be? Oh, very concerned, motherfucker. Fucker. And motherfucker. Peace. Peace. That smile though. I didn't realize I still had that open. My bad. I should go and buy the portals, man. Everyone wants portals.
Light be with you. Safe travels.
I'm cheap. I'm gonna use the... I'm gonna use the tram. Oh. My bad. Well, rip the DFK dwarf. You missed your stop. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so Portal Magic. Where do I buy that? Mystic Word, I guess. Oh.
Hey. Off and away.
Now I need the regions, Vin.
Don Lemon sees kids fleeing from church. It is traumatic for the people, and that's what protesting is about.
Watch this guy here. Look, he's hugging his kid. And, you know, I just imagine it's uncomfortable and traumatic for
the people here. But again, careful, it's very slippery right here.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable and traumatic for the people here, but that's what really, careful, please, really slippery. Not kidding. That's what protesting is about. And so
Protesting is about harassing children at church. Wow. How about that? I didn't know that. I'm just learning that right now for the first time. Don Lemon after storming the church. Oh, here we go.
You heard what some of the folks said in there, that this is, they shouldn't be there, and, they shouldn't be uncomfortable, and this is our house and whatever. That's what protesting is about, is to make people uncomfortable. You may not like it, but, I mean, if they went into a church, any church, our house and whatever, that's what protesting is about, is to make people uncomfortable.
Who decided that protesting is to make people uncomfortable? I thought it was to make a change. Like, who decided that? Like, when did this happen? That we've decided
Safe travels.
That protesting is now the way that you protest is being the most annoying, obnoxious, disruptive, and a just basically problematic person possible. Protesting is actually about petitioning the government for a redress of grievances. The world for traumatizing kids at church to affect political ends is terrorism. Yeah, Don Lemon went on a rant against ICE. Okay, here we go. So this is what he actually thinks about ICE. Because he's really put himself in a bad position doing this. Like, I see anybody who's going out and, like, you're going into a church and interrupting people from, like, being able to, worship God. I think that it's like, from an optics perspective, it looks bad. It definitely does. So, and, usually, you look at history, and I would say in most cases, the people that do that aren't the good guys. So let's listen to, Don Lemon. Here we go.
attention ICE. Let me just say something that most journalists will not say. They can't say it. I understand that. Attention ICE. Let me just say something that most journalists will not say.
What are they going to say?
I understand that. But I'm an independent journalist now, so
No, you're independent. I mean, journalist. I don't know if I would really say that. I mean, like, you're independent now. Maybe not an independent journalist, but he's independent now.
can't say it. Fuck off, ICE. Fuck all the way off.
Fuck all the way off.
Low-life losers.
Uh-huh.
And you feel empowered.
You know what's funny is that I bet a lot of the ICE agents are making more money than Don Lemon is now. I do. I bet they're making more money than him.
By your dear leader, Donald Trump.
Dear
You've
leader.
never had this position of power before.
Uh-huh.
Small person.
He is balding. He is. If you look at it.
And
Well, I'll
you
pause
are
whenever he
treating
leans
people
down.
in an inhumane way,
Yeah.
and you don't even understand why, because you're too dumb to figure it out. You are
So you're wrong, and I can't tell you why you're wrong. You just have to agree with me, okay?
poorly educated that
Makes
Donald
sense.
Trump loves.
Yeah.
That's who you are, and you're out there doing his
Well,
best.
but, I mean, most people that will see he is balding. Look at that. That's really bad. Number one. Number two. People that are poorly educated are generally a victim of circumstance, right? Like, if somebody is like very badly educated, the odds are the schools in their area are bad. And there's a socioeconomic reason for that. Now, obviously, there's people that are stupid, sure, but like I would say, a lot of education does come down to like what school you go to.
Doing things that are illegal, doing things that are unconstitutional,
Yeah.
doing things that are inhumane, like killing someone.
Right.
Because you're pissed off, because this person may be notifying people that you're in the area trying to
Well, yeah, that's called obstruction. That's like against the law. You can't do that.
round people up. That is that
Yeah.
person's First Amendment right to do. You can do
Nobody has a First Amendment right to interfere with a federal investigation. I don't know why people, and the thing is that I think this stuff plays a lot better on like mainstream media because there's no comment section. There's no way for the audience to have a rapport with like the with the media. And so because of that, I think it goes really well on mainstream media. Oh, well, you can't do this. This is the wrong thing. It's not illegal to do this. But actually, it's so obviously illegal. It's not even a question, right? It's completely obvious.
that as an American, but maybe not in Donald Trump's America.
Yeah.
Then I definitely won't say no.
Fuck losers who just
Fat.
crawled out of a trailer park from some
Proud Boy
Yeah.
meeting,
Uh-huh.
or if not worse, some other group
Right.
that could be worse than him. You are thugs, jack-booted
Uh-huh.
thugs.
Right.
And now let me just say this. Because you don't understand this, let me make it clear to you,
Yeah.
okay? The Democrats are right. You
Okay.
do not have to follow unlawful orders, but perhaps you don't know that. Or maybe you just don't care. Maybe you have not been trained. Most of you, I'm sure, have not been trained.
Well, the problem is that if Democrats followed lawful orders, you wouldn't need to have all the ICE detentions. All they needed to do was cooperate with the federal government and turn over illegal aliens to the federal government, and you would have never had this problem to begin with. This is a completely manufactured problem. Like, you wouldn't have had all these, like, house arrests and, like, home invasions and, you know, like, raids and shit like this if they had just taken a lot of these guys that, you know, like, okay, this is where, you know, Manuel lives. He's not supposed to be here, but he's been here for 7 years. We'll just go over there and get him, right? I mean, it's pretty simple.
Properly.
Mm-hmm.
And so you do things like you did with that young lady who
Oh,
should
right.
be alive.
Yeah. She should be, but if she wasn't driving in that day, if she didn't go out and obstruct ICE, she'd still be alive. She would be. This is a crazy thing to say. You put all the responsibility in an officer. I think they should do an investigation. I do. Like, I'm pretty certain the officer didn't do anything wrong, and I think it's important to make sure that you get to the truth of the matter. But here's the reality, is that if they do an investigation on that event, and then the officer is found to not be at fault, everybody that's like Don Lemon will just say the investigation's rigged. So there's not even, and this is one thing that's very important, is that there's not a legitimate conversation to be had here. Like, there's not any, like, it's not like they're going to listen to it or they're going to see it from another angle or anything else. So, yeah, what's this here? Yeah, you can't argue with your, yeah, exactly. You can't argue with these people. You can't approach this on the perspective of debate or understanding. Like, they said that the hospital's lying about the records. They said that, you know, like, oh, she was just trying to drive her kids to school. These people just openly lie and make up whatever they need in order to, like, fill their worldview. So it's not like, oh, wow, well, you know, if you show this, then they'll realize that they're wrong. People like that never realize that they're wrong because they don't care about being right. That's the reason why. You're pissing in the wind? Yeah, you're just wasting your time.
And she is not alive today. Simply because you're all jacked up on power that's
Yeah.
not even really yours. And in the end,
Yeah.
you could end up losing your freedom
Oh, because you're gonna put all the ICE agents in jail, right?
by going to jail because
Yeah.
you did something
Uh-huh.
that you were not empowered to do, that you were not trained for. And you will end up going to jail and losing your freedom. Donald
Right.
Trump cannot pardon you if this is a state charge. And
Uh-huh.
so, you stupid, dumb, ignorant, poorly educated,
Oh,
Proud
God.
Boys, Nazis marching through whatever it is you are.
Nazis. He's calling them Nazis.
And that mask that you're wearing, why
Jesus.
won't you identify yourselves?
Because people like you are going to post their address and their name, obviously. That's the reason why. I'm so glad to see this guy totally crash and burn. I really am. Like, this is so, like, what's the word? Like, it's cathartic. Like, seeing this guy that used to be the most obnoxious person on CNN, you've been reduced down to doing a podcast in your room that nobody likes anymore. Everybody's making fun of you. Anytime you interview somebody, they're more informed than you are. It's just embarrassing. It is. It's so embarrassing. I'm so happy to see this happen. He's being charged? Oh, I know. That's the grand finale of this story. I hate to give you a spoiler, but Don Lemon is being charged with the Ku Klux Klan Act. I'm not kidding. Literally, that's what's happening. So this story does have a happy ending, okay?
If
Don't
you're
worry.
big enough and bold enough to be able to shoot someone and have the
Yeah.
power to be able to take their lives, you should be big enough and bold enough to show your face. You should be transparent.
I
So-
wonder if you would think this about cartel members, like people that go on drug raids for cartels. Like, do you think that they should show their face too and the media should show who did it? Well, if not, why not? And then think about the reason why the ICE members don't show their face. It's the same reason. So if the only other frame of reference for justification for why these people don't show their face is murderous drug cartels, maybe you should ask yourself, do a little bit of soul searching and figure out why that's the closest parallel to what you're doing is.
People who you are,
Just
if
me.
you really think you are as big and as powerful as you think you are, you would not be afraid of that. What are you afraid of?
A car. Like a car. I would be afraid of a car running me over because cars are really big. They're big. They're really, really big.
You're afraid of losing your life? We all are afraid of losing our lives.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Good. Then stay home and don't drive your car into federal officers. Don't do it. It's a bad idea. Comply with the police.
That young woman lost hers.
Yeah.
Her family will never see her again. Her child is never going to see her.
That's
again.
right.
She did not have her face covered
Yep.
when you shot her and killed her.
Uh-huh.
And by all accounts, from anyone who is fair-minded anywhere, if you're looking at that video shows you, I don't care what angle it is from, that there was no justification for that woman losing her
Wrong.
life.
Then we should have an investigation. We'll see what happens. That's what I think.
Because you are ticked off because you think that you should have you should be able to
Go ahead.
just round people off the streets
What?
without any due process,
What are you talking about?
without any training. Any police officer.
Didn't that guy join ICE in like 2014 or something? He's been in ICE for over 10 years. Like, what are you talking about?
Hired by Obama.
What do you mean? Like, he's shadowboxing. Yeah, exactly. 2007. Yeah, that Jonathan Ross guy had been in ICE for like over 10 years. He got hired into ICE by like Obama. Obama hired this guy into ICE. It had nothing even to do with Donald Trump. Yeah, he was deporting people during Barack Obama. Like, it's just, none of this makes sense. It's just retarded.
I
My
believe,
humble
in my opinion,
appreciation.
who did what that officer did in Minnesota and killed that woman would be in jail right now.
Well, you're not a lawyer, so that's a great opinion. I disagree. So I guess our opinions cancel each other out.
And would be facing an arraignment and a hearing.
An
and the
arraignment.
news would be
Ooh.
covering it. But because it's Donald Trump and they are protecting and covering it up, that is not happening.
So you're implying that the news are protecting and covering things up for Don? Is Don Lemon really crashing out to a degree that he thinks the mainstream media is in leagues with Donald fucking Trump? This is really an impressive level of crash out. You don't see this every day. This is honest. I can see why they fired this guy. Can you imagine having a conversation with him, trying to like come to a consensus on something? Holy shit, how annoying.
But mark my words, karma is a bitch. This administration is going
Karma is a bitch, Mr. Don Lemon. What a lemon, dude. At least he's named appropriately, right? What a complete tard.
due process because they're not smart enough to know what they're doing. And
Let me go terrorize some churchgoers and children. Yeah, that was smart.
10 years. Like this entire idea that like all
Brilliant.
these guys are like they don't know what they're doing. They interview these guys and like they have like law enforcement backgrounds. Maybe they have like a degree in criminal justice. Some of them I'm sure do. Probably not most of them though. You know, these are.
Oh, I should have
guys
put
that
the bags in
been-
the
they
thing
got
for a
hired-
different character.
They got hired to do border patrol or ICE by like George Bush or something like that. Like, what are we even doing? Yeah, the military. Like, yeah, guys, I really wonder if the Marines trains you more than the police department. Yeah, it's a real tough one, huh?
they're going to end up losing their freedom because of a cult leader and someone who's
A cult
just
leader.
as young as them, but maybe just smart enough to co-opt them
So
into becoming.
this is the biggest cope that I've ever heard, that Donald Trump is stupid. Donald Trump is not stupid. Like, you can say that he's evil, you can say he's an asshole, you can say that he's wrong, but this guy's clearly not stupid. Like, this is what it is. Yeah, he is. Really? Okay, so some guy that like has built like a multi-billion-dollar fucking real estate empire. Then he had multiple hit TV shows for like decades. And then he just decided to go into politics and he just completely clears the board of every other Republican and he wins the presidency. He almost gets arrested. He turns that around and then he wins again. Like, I'm sorry, but like there is a will to survive there that is insane. It is. That is an insane level of fucking success. You can hate the guy, you can think he's wrong, but like, god damn, that's insane. It
No,
is. He
not
also
that
got
one.
shot. Yeah, he got shot. Yeah, now you might not think, oh well, he doesn't know what happened in the year 1453, right? But like that's not the only intelligence that exists out there, right?
Human. So ICE. Fuck you.
So this is the guy. So Don Lemon decided to post a crash out. And here we go again. This is him yesterday. Don loses it after a much smarter man shuts down his gaslighting. So they basically went directly into a church while this church was being harassed and attacked by a bunch of just basically animals. And, you know, now this is, I think,
Yep.
finally...
That's what I said.
crossed the line where I think
Wild
the
animals.
government feels like
Nothing
they have
more,
a
nothing less.
justification to
Treat 'em
go
as
after
such.
these people.
A box.
These people have come into our
Nice,
house,
small, tiny
interrupted
metal
our
box.
worship. This is a house of peace, and we try to proclaim that.
They can walk around in the yard like an hour a day, right? That's how that
It
works?
sure does.
And in the end, it's not helpful. Ultimately, I believe they've lost. They've emptied a house of worship. Everybody's gone home. Their point has been proven worthless. And so, in the end, I think they lose. But more importantly,
He's right.
if I was to break into any of their houses uninvited, cause
Yep.
derision and upset, according to their values, I would be kicked out ultimately. It's
Absolutely.
not a good way.
It's just all this is just common sense. It's total common sense.
I feel violated. I feel interrupted.
Yeah.
I feel angry.
May I ask you something? When you were saying if you had showed up at their house, they're saying that people are showing up at houses where they're citizens
Yes.
or without due process and breaking and entering their house. One that we saw, I've been watching from New York, with a battering ram
Completely
into someone's private
irrelevant.
property, and there's no recourse. There's no. You understand what
So
I'm saying?
because somebody else had something bad happen to them, it's okay for them to do whatever they want? Like, I don't even understand. Where's the logic here? This is like, again, I always use this example. It's like when you're playing Xbox Live and you lose a game and you get up and you punch your dog. Like, what the fuck did the dog do? What the hell? What do they have to do with this at all? Like, well, it's happening to them. So what? So that means they can do it as much as they want? Does it make sense?
This is all part of a much larger dialogue, in my opinion. You know, on one side are people who watch a previous
It's BLM round 2.
administration bring 12 million people in over the course of
Don't forget the screeching white lady.
and
Yeah.
many of them undocumented.
Here she comes.
Criminals, etc. This is another
Jesus.
administration's corrective.
It's
Now,
a church?
I think I could actually
Seems well adjusted.
be sympathetic to some of the things where there have been
Uh-oh, here we go. It got low.
challenges to
All
action and
Karens, of
decency.
course.
At the same time, these are what are called targeted interventions by ICE to keep
Okay.
the American people safe.
If I
Back to
may
work.
interject here. I've been out reporting on a lot of these, and they're not targeted. There are no warrants signed by a judge, and they're. Let me finish. And they're American citizens. Many of them.
So all of them are random, and they're all... Well, like, if they're all American citizens, then how do so many of them just accidentally turn out to be illegals? I mean, because that's kind of like an interesting question, right? So, like, if you're just randomly knocking on doors, and you're just catching these people, and then they just happen to find a bunch of illegal aliens with huge criminal records, then there's probably more than 20 million illegals here, right? Just by, you know, just like an average.
Most of the people that they detain don't have criminal convictions or criminal records.
I'm not going to get into the weeds. This is
But
a
you should know that, though. Don't you think that's part of it?
Yes, and I could also show you many opposing sides where we're also picking up the very criminals that have put Americans in danger.
They have.
And
Isn't it crazy to like, it's really shocking to me to take a step back and to think about the fact that this
Murloc.
entire
What?
crash out has been
Why does it say
caused
Murloc
by
on it?
us trying to deport illegal aliens. Isn't that insane?
Oh, it's the rank.
That, like,
Gotcha.
there's this many people that are like, they've been, I guess, like brain broken to the idea that They think that we should have,
Oh.
you know, infinity illegal
I didn't even see
aliens
them.
come into the country. It's so wild. Yeah, like nothing about this really makes sense to me. I don't know why anybody would advocate for this. I don't know why anybody would say this. It's just very, very odd. Yeah, the whole Canada's watching CNN. 30% of Canadians are now scared to go to the U.S. It's crazy control by the media. Yeah, a lot of people watch CNN in Canada. Yeah, and you mean U.S. executing what people voted on? Yeah, that's what they did.
I'm not saying it's pretty. I'm not saying it's not messy. I'm not saying it couldn't be better. I'm saying this is a part of a much larger dialogue in which one administration caused a great deal of chaos and havoc and danger for America.
I mean, and this is another thing, right? Canadians don't even have freedom of speech, okay? Like, you guys don't even have the ability to express yourself in your own country. So, like, I don't really want to hear about how Canadians feel, all right? I mean, like, y'all can't even figure out your own shit. You can't even, you don't even have a license to think. Like, I don't want to hear about the approval of a Canadian.
And citizens, and another is trying to correct that.
Do you believe that?
You're wrong? No, I'm not. Look it up.
Why? Honestly,
Okay.
let me talk to you
Listen,
just on
you're
the
not
facts.
a journalist.
Yes, I am. I want to give you the
No.
facts.
You're not a
Did you know
journalist.
that undocumented people and
we're
immigrants
done.
commit far less crime
We're
than
done.
Americans?
Don, not a journalist,
Sure
Lemon.
they do. You know what? Don Lemon is a rich guy that probably, I don't know how he grew up, but you've been rich for like 40 years, man. You have no idea. If you actually think they commit less crime because of some fucking study, you have no idea what they're doing. They're committing all types of identity fraud all over the place, all types of, you know, different types of, you know, like welfare abuse, shit like this. It's super, super, super common.
Here, we're done.
Let me help you out, brother.
Born Americans. You won't listen.
If you could ask
I'm
an
giving you the
objective
facts.
question,
It is.
It is.
I respond to you.
Oh my god.
Lives in a nice white neighborhood.
You don't want to listen to facts.
Doesn't want to listen to the facts.
That's the interesting thing about this is that they won't listen to facts.
I just
And
don't,
they're-
no.
You won't because
when you
because
pose
it's
as a journalist,
I am a
and you
journalist.
ask
I'm
me
journalist
questions-
gives facts.
I am a journalist. No, I am a journalist. No, you don't understand. I used to be on CNN. No, you can't tell me I'm not a journalist. I am a journalist. I was on CNN. They call me a journalist over there. No, you can't say I'm not.
Give
And then
facts.
you start correcting me with facts, and
Yeah.
don't have.
You shouldn't hear the facts.
Of course,
That
I should
most
hear
of the people
facts.
who are picked up
But
are
will you
not
give me the
have
facts
no-
on both sides?
That is the facts on both sides.
The facts on both sides are that you're
Most
right
of the
about
people
everything.
who are picked up and are
That's
detained
convenient.
are not convicted. They have no
Yeah.
criminal convictions. They have no criminal record.
That's true. They have no criminal convictions, but they do have criminal charges. The majority of them do have criminal charges. They just don't have criminal
Oh.
convictions. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I have never really just been randomly charged for like assault with a deadly weapon or, you know, any sort of like bad sex crime or something like that. 70% of them do have criminal charges, but less than that have criminal convictions, obviously. So yeah, it's just crazy. It is. It's
Und
crazy.
now, wir weit.
That immigrant.
And you see how people like Don Lemon intentionally obfuscate things. They intentionally misrepresent things. And this is what this old guy
Waiting
is talking
over.
about, right? Is that the facts on both sides are that the majority of them do not have convictions, but the majority of them do have charges. Both of these things are true at the same time, but if you're only presenting one set of information, then you're going to give people the wrong impression.
Commit far
And I
less
think that's
crime
on
than
purpose.
Native-born Americans.
Anybody that thinks that, bro, like,
So They
wow.
won't listen to the facts. Anyways, these folks are still out here.
Oh my God. And so anyway, woke jury, you thinking about deportations? Yeah, I'm talking about people that have been deported by ICE. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was talking about. But you see, I was right, not defending Don Lemon. Yeah, I know that. But like, I do try to, oh, here we go too. So he's panicking. He knows he committed several federal offenses by storming a church for the purpose of intimidating and harassing worshipers. Oh man. I think this guy actually might be cooked.
Fake right-wing propaganda news alert from this supposed right-angled news network. Supposed network.
Now you're out there arguing with Twitter accounts. All right, let's go. Let's hear it.
That I led a protest into a church this morning in Minneapolis. That is complete BS. First of all, I had no idea who the organization was until I arrived this morning. And number two,
Should be explaining this to his lawyer, honestly. Like, I'm surprised he's talking about this.
That's what every journalist should be doing. Exactly what
Every journalist should be going into a church, barging into the church, harassing people, interrupting their worship, and then telling them that they deserve to be interrupted because some random guy that lives in another state got harassed. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I can see why people don't think he's a journalist.
I did. What I did was
Right.
report, chronicle, and commit an act of journalism, which is what every journalist should be doing.
Yes.
That's what happened. So if you really want to know the
By the way, journalists, there are good journalists out there, but the majority of these mainstream media journalists are total enemies of the people. They have
Mouthpieces.
no interest and no desire of making anything better. They don't want to tell you the truth. They want to misrepresent things, and they will simply lie to you if things are inconvenient for them. This is what they do.
truth about what happened, why don't you check it out at the Don Lemon Show on YouTube, on Substack, and on Twitch. And follow us on any of our socials if you really want to know the truth rather than getting some right-wing propaganda from a so-called news network.
Let's find out what the truth actually is. Okay, Twitch tracker. Don Lemon. Huh. That's not very good. Yep, that's not very good at all. Okay, so you have 132 viewers. You're streaming every single day, and this one you got a lot of followers that day, but you're usually in like the single digits here, right? And yeah, Don Lemon. Okay, let's look at his YouTube. How about that? Let's take a look at that. Don Lemon. Okay, so where is his channel here? All right, there we go. And let's look at the videos. Okay, so you're getting. Well, this one has a lot, right? And other than that, okay, this one's doing okay. 21K, 32K, 42K, 81K, 138K. So this guy's basically like a mid-level. He's like a mid-level YouTuber, basically. This is it. So you've turned into a YouTuber. And so 25K average. Well, I mean, some of them are really high. Like this one has 2 million views, right? But the rest of these have like 42 million, 7,000. Like, in my opinion, and I don't want to accuse him of this, but what I will say is that it's very common that when you see a channel that has
Double
like
gold
a
right there.
handful of videos that are extremely high, and then all the rest of the videos are extremely low, there is a chance they could have bought some sort of promotion or some sort of engagement in order to boost the video in a way to make people see it more often, right? No, I'm not saying that's the reason. 42 million? Well, no, I think it said 2 million, right? Yeah, it said 2 million. But maybe another one said 42. I don't know any of them that say 42 million. But either way, that's basically what I would say. Probably it's just a video going viral. Maybe, but usually when videos go viral, you'll see other videos that are around it that are also very successful too. So it's hard to say. But anyway, so Don Lemon is really, really not doing very well. I can see why he's upset about this. And so let's see if I can pull up a few of these. Oh, here we go.
These posts should have been deleted, so why haven't they been deleted? Why are they still there? We delete things if they are illegal. These have been up there for a while. Are they illegal? No, they're not illegal, but...
But what? But it made me mad, so you should get rid of it. And you see, like, what a liar. What a total liar. And so this is the thing, but these
posts should have been deleted, so...
They should have been deleted. Who decided that they should have been deleted? Who said this?
Why haven't they been deleted? Why are they...
It's like, well, this should happen. Who says this? I made it up. So because I made up the thing that I say should happen, why are you not capitulating and doing the thing that I said should happen?
They're still there.
Who does
We delete
this?
things if they are illegal.
It's simple, yeah. What a simple concept.
But these have been up there for a while. Are they illegal?
But these have been up there. It doesn't even make sense.
No, they're not illegal, but...
But
Well, there you go.
shameful. They're hateful. Oh, okay. So now we're changing it.
To interrupt a public gathering of Christians in worship. So, but there were folks who will say, I have to take care of my flock.
Listen, we live in there's a constitution, the First Amendment to freedom
Yeah,
of speech.
you ain't in a public space, motherfucker.
We're here to worship.
Never, ever, ever confuse
There's this
yourself
little
into
thing
thinking that
called
these
the
people have
separation of church and state. Maybe you've heard of
Never
it.
convince yourself,
Retard.
never trick yourself, never put yourself in a position where you think that something is happening where it's actually not. These people don't have any values. All they're going to say is, it's freedom of speech whenever I come in and I harass people in the middle of church, and now it's not freedom of speech when a meme is on Twitter that makes me mad. That's it. So yeah, cannot believe this, what the hell? Well, no, I told you guys, like, I keep trying to tell people this, is that these people, like,
My stuff.
this is such a huge mistake that
Whoopsie.
a lot of people make, is that they assume that anybody who's like Don Lemon, for example, is trying to act in good faith and trying to understand what's going on. These people are just lying retards. They're lying retards, and they're just going to tell you whatever they need to hear, whatever you need to hear to let them do what they want. That's it. And so all you need to do, he's advocating for the First Amendment when he's breaking freedom of religion. I know, and this is the reason why you have to absolutely crucify these people. And that you should not try to win the argument with them. You should try to crush them in every single way possible, because the entire, like, what they represent is an insidious, obnoxious, patronizing, passively aggressive group of people that will do anything that they can to subvert your values, to take away anything that you want, and to try to take advantage of you in any single way possible. They're trying to crush you. Act accordingly. Yes, you should totally do this. And I'm glad to see with Don Lemon, this is what I think is actually happening. And then this is, oh, here's another one. So he's crying. Don Lemon is beginning to panic. The backpedaling has begun. Uh-oh, here we go.
The MAGA administration and the fake news MAGAs are losing their mind over something that's not even true.
It's not even true. Wow. Well, I guess we're going to have to find out.
So let me just make it clear, because this
Yeah.
a assistant attorney general, I don't know,
Yeah.
gosh, what's her name? Something Hammett,
Yeah.
Gillen or whatever. So I had no affiliation to that organization. I didn't even know they were going to this church until
Why would it matter if you were affiliated? You did it.
we followed them there. We were there chronicling protests.
I think he's realizing that he might have fucked around. He might have fucked around. Oh,
Once
I
the
love
protest
this.
started in the church,
I do.
we did an act of journalism,
It's an act of journalism.
which was report on it and talk to the people who were involved, which included the pastor, members of the church, and members of the organization.
But then you started fucking trying to convert him.
You're not acting as a journalist.
That's not a journalist, is it?
As a
Activist.
agitator. You're acting as an insider, and you're doing
Not even
this on
activist, yeah.
purpose. That's the reason.
Agitator is a better word.
It's called journalism. First
It's
Amendment,
called journalism.
all that stuff.
Journalism is whenever I run into a church and I cause problems.
All of you people who believe in the First Amendment, absolutist. There you go.
An
So why don't you
absolute, he's an absolutist now. This is after he was crying to Elon Musk to ban memes. But now he's an absolutist.
talk to
It's crazy how these things change, isn't it?
the actual person who is in charge of the organization and whose idea it was to have the protests at the church before you start
Oh,
blaming
it's
me
his
for stuff
fault.
for which you have no idea.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Man,
No problem,
he's
terrorist.
upset about this. I'm not surprised at all. Don Lemon thanked the
30-minute video.
So you remember this guy?
Enough
This
attention for
crazy
ya?
hobo that went in there and started screaming at all the people in church? Here's Don Lemon with him.
People who are wearing the uniform now, you think they're patriots?
I don't think so, especially those ICE agents.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
No, they're terrorists. They're traitors.
Thank you guys. Thank you for your service. I appreciate it.
Today we had the honor to protest with Nikema
So he's going out there and he's
Armstrong and the Racial Justice Network. Just like Jesus
Uh-oh.
did, we went into that church and we flipped tables peacefully. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are your people? Why are you not at Wimble every day fighting for the humanity, standing for our people? Where are you? You drink your coffee, you got your jewelry, you have your nice clothes, but what do you do? What do you do to stand for your
Jesus.
Somali
Who
and
is this
Latino
guy?
communities? I'm not going to comment. You have no comment, exactly. As you can see, all these pretend Christians, all these comfortable white people who are living lavish, comfortable.
fucking demon.
Alive while children are dragged
Oh
into
my God.
concentration camps. You're living real life, nice lives with your lattes, doing absolutely nothing for your Latino
Cracked
and
out
Somali
Jesus?
brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
You come here to a man wearing a suit.
Jesus
in the
has
future.
returned.
Did
He's a
Jesus wear
crackhead with a
suit?
beanie.
Did Jesus profit off the words? No. Jesus would die.
Oh my God.
Living real,
Oh, here we go.
protesting this attack on humanity. Where are you? You're sinners. You're pretending to be Christians. But we know you live an easy life, don't you? A very easy life while people are starving.
Here we
Living
go.
real comfortable while the
Ain't nobody
people
starving in the States.
living real comfortable.
It's like the way he talks, you would assume this is like a
On
meme.
purpose.
Like this
Or
is what like Saturday
not
Night Live
voluntarily.
would do. Or it's like fucking I don't know, like a comedy skit. How can you actually act this way legitimately? It's crazy.
While children are
How do you
dragged
do
into
this to yourself?
concentration camps, you're all living
Oh my
real
God.
comfortable, aren't you?
You guys having fun?
On you. Do something. Stand with the Somalis. Stand with the Latinos. Quit ignoring this injustice.
They've gotta put people like this in jail. They do. They have to do it. You can't let people like this out. Isn't it nuts?
And he hangs out with Christy Nome. How is that a Christian? You're supposed
So
to.
we already saw this before, right? We did. And so anyway, and this is the opening of Don Lemon's Insane live stream is an admission to the foreknowledge that the group was in contact with was going to storm a church based on prior communications with its leader.
Into Minneapolis a little bit ago and did some reconnaissance on the ground, speaking to an organization there that's gearing up for resistance and protest. I've been pleasantly surprised to see the community coming together.
Pleasantly surprised.
Diverse community.
The community coming together to commit a terroristic act. Well done.
Which operation are we at? And as it turns out, because
That was a smart move.
it's kind of MAGA coded, right? So the American flag or whatever.
Oh my God. Oh my God. It's MAGA coded because it has the American flag. Who is this guy?
But these are resistance protesters. They're planning an operation that we're going to follow them on. I can't tell you exactly what they're doing, but it's called Operation Pull Up.
So he knows all about this. He knows what they were going to do.
And it's Takima Armstrong, and she has been doing this since
He even knows who's organizing it.
George Floyd.
Oh wow! Yeah, and he's talking about, oh, this is. I knew it was BLM people. I could tell just by the way they were acting. It was the exact same.
Tay Wright and others, where they surprise people, catch them off guard, and hold them to account.
Surprise people and catch them off guard and hold them to account. Okay, that's an interesting way of saying it.
So that's what we're doing here, and then we're after we do this operation, you'll see it live. And these operations are surprise operations. Again, I can't tell you where they're going.
So anyway, he very clearly and very obviously knew this was going to happen.
He even calls it an operation. Bro, these people are terrorists. Like, straight up. Oh shit. Causing fear, harassment, intimidation for the purpose of political belief.
Just fuck all the way off.
You could not be more definitionally a terrorist.
Small-minded, small dick shit to do. Like, you have no couth. You are an immature child. You are a bigot, a fucking racist, and a small penis asshole.
I feel like I'm watching a
I said
therapy
that.
session.
Just hateful and delusional. And you have the nerve to be upset because people were critical of Charlie Kirk's what he said before he died, how he talked about black people and women and all, and you have the nerve to be all up in arms about that. Just fuck all the way off. That just shows me that you were just grifting off of Charlie Kirk's death. But you don't give a shit about
Donald Trump is grifting off of Charlie Kirk? Oh my God.
respecting someone.
Isn't it time to stop using this word?
When they die, you don't care. You care about yourself. And you are preaching and promoting hate. It's just vile. It makes me sick that you are president of the United States. It's embarrassing. You are an embarrassment to this country.
With the popular vote.
Man. I think this is a really good crash out. This is
gross.
Jesus.
I don't even know how else. I mean, it's just, I hate to even say it.
He's really, yeah, he's really
Like, I
having
hate to even say your name.
he's
I don't
really
even
going
like to
through it.
hear your voice. It's so gross. It sounds like you're vomiting when you talk. Everything is like that.
What does he think is RFK?
And you wonder where all the hate comes from in this country? It comes from you. You are the promoter of hate in this country.
Right? Bro, I literally just made a 30-minute video on how I think he's a terrorist. Definitionally. Go watch it.
Example of it.
Man.
And you expect people to respect you when you have
Hello?
no respect for other people and zero respect for the office that you hold. And so I'm giving you the same energy that you give others. That's how I feel about it. Fuck you, piece of shit. If Rob Reiner can't say it, I'm gonna say it for him.
What a crash out, guys. And so anyway, how did this turn out for Don Lemon? This is the final result.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, it's a public space. No, there's such a thing called separation of state and church that literally precludes a church from being owned by the government. So it's in no way, shape, or form can it ever be a public space. Like, yeah, you're fucking just because the public's allowed in it doesn't make it a public space, retard. Right?
On to the FACE Act in the case of protests outside abortion clinics.
Not to mention, right? He literally stated, oh, it's traumatic for the children and intimidating. So he's intimidating, traumatizing, and harassing people in order to change their political beliefs. That is, by definition, terrorism. I like the thumbnail too. The thumbnail's fun. It's literally just his dumb face with the word terrorist next to it. But I like it though. Come on. It's pretty good, no? Terrorist. Welcome back to the... Anyway, let me like my own video, Kappa. Go watch it. Something tells me you'll agree.
Longer sentences. So they're
The Klan Act. Bro, Don Lemon is going to get charged with the Klan Act.
a number of tools available to us. Who funded this? What else? What other crimes may have
Oh my
occurred?
God.
Was there a use of the wires or the mails in preparing for this event? Did anyone cross state lines?
Absolute fucking cinema. Bro, if they put him in jail under the Ku Klux Klan Act, that's gonna be impressive. I'll be so happy.
To do this. All of those are potential predicates for additional federal charges.
That's right.
I mean, I've just pulled up the Klan Act because this is the first time that I've heard this mentioned. This is
I know,
an
right?
act that was passed in 1871, correct?
So right after the Civil War, you could kind of see how these things, yeah, it makes sense. Tracks.
In there, combat the Ku Klux Klan and protect African Americans' voting rights, especially the Enforcement Act, which is known as the Force
Ku Klux
Act.
Klan Act.
So here's some of the
Oh my
information on
God.
screen. Would you mind breaking down for us, because we have just read the FACE Act and how this is an affinity to the FACE Act, an obvious and egregious demonstrable violation of the FACE Act, because they were entering a place of worship, harassing and threatening. We just played a video of a man, a bearded man, who was threatening to attack the Christians that were worshiping there. So it seems like an obvious FACE Act violation. But the Klan Act here, it is on screen. First time I've heard it mentioned. Can you unpack this for us?
Yeah, the Klan Act is one of the most important federal civil rights statutes, and it goes back to the time when President Lincoln emancipated the slaves, and yet the southern states, Dixiecrats mainly,
Right.
were refusing to give them equal
Imagine
rights.
not,
The fact that,
right?
you had sheriffs and you had
And they're
law
getting away with it.
harassing,
They need to put Tim Walz in jail as well, because he's the linchpin, right? If he says arrest these people are arrested. So yeah, Tim Walz straight to jail. Jacob Frey straight to jail.
freed slaves. So
Don
the
Lemon
Klan Act
straight to
is a
jail.
law that makes it illegal to terrorize citizens, to violate their civil rights.
Yeah, that's Jacob
get
Frey.
together and conspire to violate the civil rights. It is often used against.
And they did conspire. Like, both Don Lemon and retard Rasputin both admitted that they were conspiring and planning to do this. And he even recorded them conspiring out in front of the church. It's over. It's totally done.
Law enforcement, but is now used against others as well.
Man.
So whenever anyone conspires to violate the protected civil rights of American citizens, the Klan Act can be used to bring a conspiracy charge.
Oh my God.
We in the federal law enforcement parlance call this 241 and 242 civil and criminal conspiracies. And so what the Biden administration did is, if 3 grandmas got together to pray outside an abortion clinic for the souls of the people inside, and including the unborn children, they would say, oh, that's not just a violation of the Klan Act, that's a conspiracy to violate the civil rights of women going in there to get abortions. And so we're going to add additional charges and punish that more and make it from a
See, this is what I said before, is that you always have to go Old Testament with these people, because they've already been doing this. They were already doing this to grandmas that were protesting Planned Parenthood. Whenever you're enforcing it on grandmas, then why shouldn't you do it to Don Lemon? And I try to advocate for this more and more and more, is that you always do the most. You always go as hard as you possibly can. You have no mercy ever. And if you do that, then people might not necessarily like it, but they'll be afraid of it. And that's better than liking it.
Misdemeanor under the FACE Act to a felony under the Klan Act. And President Trump pardoned the pro-life protesters in those cases. I have recently defended successfully in the...
Yeah, and by the way, my opinion, I don't think you should be able to go in there and, like, fuck up an abortion clinic. Absolutely not. Like, it's legal.
Yeah, I say that in the video as well. Like, I'm definitely, in no way, shape, or form any way affiliated with any religion whatsoever. And even I know this is disgusting. Reprehensible behavior.
11th Circuit, a case called Oropesa, a case of Jane's Revenge, the pro-abortion protesters violently attacking crisis pregnancy centers in Florida, and we had the court uphold the Klan Act criminal enhancement to the FACE Act. So I know this is very deep in the weeds, but the point is, there are a number of things. The FACE Act is just the start. Like I said, you have material support for...
I love hearing that. That's just the start. Oh my God.
Or disruptive activities. You have conspiracy to violate civil rights. You have potentially the use of other instrumentalities to commit crimes. And so some of these folks who did this have self-identified.
Yeah, they self-reported. Yeah, you know who they are. Again, put this dude in jail. Put him in jail for like fucking 10 years. And be like, Rip Bozo. That's another one. Yeah, 25 years? I like the sound of that. That sounds good.
Don Lemon himself has come out and said he knew exactly what was going to happen inside that facility. He went into the...
He did. He knew exactly what was going to happen. He had talked to them prior. Make an example. Well, even if it's not an example, isn't it fun to do this to somebody that you don't like? Fuck. I mean, like, we all... Like, I you know, this is my mentality, okay? Is that... And this probably gets me in a lot of trouble. I do these things because I think it's funny. That's what I'd do it for. Just because it's funny. Fuck them. That's it.
Facility, and then he began, quote unquote, committing journalism.
I don't like him.
And as if that's sort of a shield from being a part, an embedded part of a criminal conspiracy. It isn't. And so, you know, we're getting our ducks in a row, putting the facts together, and this is a very serious matter. Come next Sunday, nobody should think in the United States that they're going to be able to get away with this.
That's right. Yep. And to be fair, there is a secondary effect, and it will make people, you know, not do this. That's good. Well, how many times do you take the bait? All bluster, no follow through. I'll believe it when I see it. This guy says in chat, "I hate you," and you're right. And you say in chat, you say that they're all talking about this, but they're not really going to do this. The moment that we actually start...
I have more problems than that with the Republican Party, but that's a big one. They let them walk all over him. Oh, we gotta be because they can do it to us. They're already doing it to you. Like, fight back.
Maybe now they're there's actually something that's going to happen. But until we start putting these activist journalists in jail whenever they openly break the law, advocate for other people to break the law, and cause all of these problems, then maybe I'll do it. But you're right, you should not count your ducks before they hatch. You should not, or eggs, chickens, where the fuck, okay? They're all the same. And so you should not do that. You should wait until it actually happens. But yeah, why is this guy not, like, this is the next step, right? Is like, why is he not already being prosecuted? Like, you should immediately be doing that, like, right away. Like, go get him right now. Like, wait for, this is what they should do. They should arrest him live.
Yeah, wait for him to go live and then... I was thinking that the moment he goes live. Hello. How you doing, Mr. Lemon?
Man. That way they get to see it on CNN. Yep, definitely. And, yep, that would be so fucking good, man. And on MLK Day, Don Lemon gets arrested and charged under the Ku Klux Klan Act on Martin Luther King Day. Wow. That would be, guys. That's almost too good. That might be too good, guys.
Everyone in the protest community needs to know that the fullest force of the federal government is going to come down and prevent this from happening and put people away for a long, long time.
I like the sound of that. Then do it. And you're right. You shouldn't be listening, black man. Yes, a black guy gets convicted of the KKK Act on Martin Luther King Day. Crazy, crazy turnaround there. Oh my God, it's what MLK would want. Yeah, you know what? I don't know. Like, I mean, it's hard to say what Martin Luther King would want, but like the way Don Lemon acts, I don't think Martin Luther King would maybe necessarily be a fan of it. I don't think he would be. This entire idea that like, oh yeah, Martin Luther King liked this stuff. Martin Luther King went out and he said, you shouldn't block roads.
It's the same over here.
He said this. He said, oh, if you do that, you're going to alienate the people. They're not going to like you. So this entire idea that these people have that like they're protesting for civil rights or anything, MLK was a Christian? Yeah, I mean, I think I'm like 90% sure. Yeah, I think so. Malcolm X would nail his ass. Maybe you're right. The reason he's not arrested is because it's hard. You have to divert resources away from investigating gangs, cartels, and violent crimes for essentially a non-violent crime. I think that people really downplay the value of a public crucifixion. I think that they do. I think that whenever you drag somebody through the mud and you do it publicly and you make it completely obvious what's happening to them, then everybody else that's around that sees that gets scared and they stop doing it. And that's the goal. That's what you need to do. And then they stop doing it. Exactly. So like whenever you stop this guy, like, yeah, you only get one guy, but it's not about getting one guy. It's about scaring 1,000 guys. And that way they think that, oh, wow, I'm not going to get away with this because if I do this, I could totally get got. So Ronnie and Silver's about to be puking and internally bleeding. I'm gonna be real. Like if I was part of the IRGC and I saw what happened in Venezuela, I would be roaching the fuck out. I would be gone. Especially after they got all their nuke stuff blown up too. Like, I'd be freaking the fuck out.
All right, it is 9 minutes after the top of the hour, and the president of Iran is warning the United States that if he attacks on their supreme leader could constitute an all-out war.
Oh,
as President Trump calls for an end to the Ayatollah's reign.
So Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yingst all over this. He joins us from Tel Aviv with the latest. Hey, Trey.
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. Over the weekend, Iran's supreme leader continued to attack President Trump and the United States of America. The Ayatollah Khamenei
on Twitter
addressed a crowd on Saturday that was chanting death to America and death to Israel as he called President Trump a criminal. The remarks, which were broadcast on state-controlled media, followed a slew of X posts where he falsely claimed the U.S. orchestrated the mass killing and chaos in Iran.
We consider the U.S. president a criminal for the casualties, damages, and the slander he inflicted on the Iranian nation.
In an interview with Politico, President Trump responded saying it's time to look for new leadership in Iran. And on Sunday, Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian warned that any aggression against the supreme leader would be considered an all-out war. As the country's leadership is discussing more about the protests, new video provided to Fox News by a source in Tehran shows Iranians gathered outside of a morgue demanding answers about their loved ones.
Yeah, because all the people were getting killed. That's why they turned off the internet, obviously. That's what
Iranian
happened.
regime is now admitting at least 5,000 people were killed during these demonstrations.
Anybody could see
the true
this.
number is likely much higher and could be in the tens of thousands, according to some estimates.
It's probably
Another
in the tens
source
of
the
thousands.
predominantly Kurdish Iranian city
Almost certainly, no?
told Fox News that he saw bodies in the streets and that security forces came and took some of the bodies away. Around the world, protests and vigils have been held for those Iranians who were killed and the thousands that remain imprisoned following the crackdown.
Surely they're going to let them out of jail, right?
Message here is keep pressure
Surely
on
they
Iran.
will.
And what's really important is, as the vigil tonight is calling for, is all political prisoners need to be free. So President Trump should set that as a new red line to have the Iranian regime release 50,000 protesters, peaceful protesters that were arrested by the regime.
There's nothing that you can do. You have to get rid of them. Because if you don't get rid of them, they're just going to go after and get these people later on. Like, it's not like they can't just kill them later. So they'll do this to make Trump relent on them, and then they're going to turn around and start doing the same thing again.
Oh, wait, I read that wrong. Sorry. 8-hour wait for what?
He promised. That doesn't mean, it's not how it works. They're just going to change their mind.
So we're asking the White House, keep the pressure on Iran.
Here in Israel, the military and political echelons continue to hold consultations.
Oh, retail. Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
With Iran. Guys, back to you.
I don't think there's going to be a war.
Trey, the death toll you kind of indicated is higher than listed. I've heard 16,500. I've heard 300,000 have been hurt. What numbers are you getting?
Yeah, the death toll is far higher than we even know. The Iranians themselves are admitting 5,000 killed amid these demonstrations. Human rights organizations say the number could be north of 12 or even 16,000. The issue here is an internet blackout, making it incredibly difficult to get information.
Well, it's just like, I mean, logically, why would they turn off the internet? I mean, they obviously turned it off so they could kill their people. So there wouldn't be as much of an international outrage over it. I mean, that's clearly what happened. I don't see how anybody would not come to that immediate conclusion.
The ground in Iran.
Like, duh,
I've been
of course.
speaking with Iranians who are using Starlink satellite uplinks.
Suspicious? Yeah.
And they say that they have seen hundreds killed in their cities.
Holy fuck.
Kermanshah in the predominantly Kurdish area of Iran. Further south of Tehran, in Isfahan, in the capital.
What gets me is the rest of the world is silent. We have a literal crime against humanity happening, and the U.S. are the only ones wanting to do something about it. The global community are a bunch of cucks, and their opinions on everything should be ignored. I think
Time
that people.
is money, friend.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. Yeah, true.
Tehran, you're getting similar reports, and also horrific images are being shared.
It's kind of funny though. Nobody wants to advertise on Twitch, so I have to put in their own advertisements. Maybe, you know, how about you start with banning the terrorists on your platform, like Hassan Piker and now Don Lemon, right? How about you start with that, Twitch? Maybe some of the advertisers come back. No, I'm talking crazy, right? Fucking ridiculous. To be fair, while Don Lemon is, in my opinion, an actual terrorist now, because of what he did, Hassan Abi is a terrorist sympathizer. They're not really the same severity, but they're pretty fucking close.
Yeah, Griff, absolutely. These Starlink terminals are the only way that much of Iran is able to communicate with the outside world, and the regime knows this. And so I've talked with sources who say that security forces are going.
Well, they're even trying to jam the Starlink too, in order to like stop more people from communicating and being able to get messages out of Iran.
To door in major cities.
It goes to show absolutely useless the UN is. Yeah, no, the US should never pay attention to the UN. Like, the UN is only useful for bullying small countries in Africa. That's it.
Trying to look for Starlink terminals to confiscate them and then arrest the people that are using them.
And even that's iffy.
There are a number of SIM cards from other countries that are also working in Iran, giving a small group of people the ability to phone the outside world. but it truly is an internet blackout, and it's creating a scenario where we know just 1 or 2% of the reality on the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
And the images that we're getting now are predominantly coming from state media, and so they're certainly sterilized.
I wonder what that's going to be.
And the comments that you heard earlier from Iran's supreme leader directly taunting President Trump, who has called for the regime to stop this crackdown on protesters and to immediately halt.
Bro, so far Trump's been a giant pussy both domestically and internationally, so I don't know why that's a big mistake.
26-year-old, 24-year-old young man that was supposed to be.
Yeah, so Israel's paying for the Starlink, regardless of what's good or bad. With this
Trump's been weak as fuck.
That Israel is fomenting the riots. No, I thought Elon Musk
Tim
was
Waltz,
paying for it. Starlink
Jacob
isn't
Frey,
owned by Israel,
Don
it's owned
Lemon.
by Elon Musk.
Hanged, but then there were 800.
Why are they still free? Why are they not indicted?
As far as I know.
Hey, how you doing? Them against that. What's the latest there?
What we understand right now is that that was a temporary
You
measure
did it for
to stop
free?
these
Yeah,
executions
providing it
in
for free.
Iran, and it's something the Trump administration is going to have to watch closely, understanding that the Iranian regime has a long history of executing political prisoners, executing people without trial. And that is the concern of the thousands of Iranian protesters who were taken to these prisons and jails across the country, that they could be killed at a later date once international attention shifts away from Iran. So the message that we're receiving from not only Iranian...
That's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to wait it out so it leaves the news cycle, and then they're going to just systematically kill all of the people that were protesting against them. That's what they're going to do. I mean, if I were the Iranian government, that's what I would do. I would just say, like, yeah, let's turn off the internet. Nobody will be able to talk about this. And then we'll just take the names down of all these people that are problematic, and then we'll just kill them next month, right? Or 2 months from now or something. Like, I mean, that's clearly what you should do. Like, if you were them, that's what you would do.
Demonstrators, but also the Iranian diaspora around the world, is to continue speaking about Iran over concern not just of those who were killed, but also those who remain in Iranian prisons.
Yeah, I thought that 24-year-old was beaten to death in prison. That's a report I had heard. We also know that David.
So he wasn't executed; they just killed him in prison.
Yeah,
that's great.
Marnia, who's head the Mossad, is now in Florida, meeting with Steve Witkoff and others. So real quick, Trey, why do you think Netanyahu went public and said, we really don't think the president should act now? Why do you think he tried to make sure the president didn't act?
I don't know why.
Mana Shield, Blast Wave, Blizzard, Frostbolt.
Summer during June of 2025, there was a 12-day war between Israel and Iran, and we were reporting here on the ground in the Middle East amid that incoming ballistic missile fire. Around half of the missiles that were shot down were actually shot down by U.S. vessels and air defense systems who were helping the Israelis to ensure that their airspace was clear amid this.
Oh, they want to have the boats over there so they can stop it preemptively. That's probably what it is.
One of a number of reasons
Oh, fuck. Dude, I just sold all of them. I didn't realize I needed 15 silk. Fuck. Guess I'm buying those back.
Did the same thing. Israel attacked Iran?
The Trump administration decided
Bulks.
against military intervention because the Israeli government and their counterparts told them not to do that. But Donald Trump did say he will take strong actions if the Iranian government begins executing those protesters.
I think that you just can't trust them. Like, at this point, I mean, like, if you've got your guys out there on the street, you've turned off the internet, and they're just killing people. Like, there's enough videos and, like, images that have come out already that have, like, just piles of body bags of people. I mean, it's pretty obvious that people are getting killed en masse over there. So, like, just imagine how bad it actually is. I mean, if you're gonna do something, now's the time to do something.
Yeah, I didn't. Fuck.
But if they want to have the boats get over there first, I mean, I guess that makes sense, sure. I mean, like, from a logical perspective.
Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro.
More broadly, as a Jewish leader yourself, are you surprised that we're not seeing more demonstrations in support of Iranian people, for instance, trying to liberate themselves from this oppressive regime, like we saw with protesters rallying for Palestine when Israel was being accused of genocide?
Well, the reason why is because leftist people have been captured by Islam.
3.
And they view Islam as a good thing. So if they see Islamic regimes falling
15.
apart, they will actually fall off on the side of being on the same side of an Islamic regime. That's the
Bit of a waste. Hilariously, I bought them cheaper from what I sold them, so.
I'm Jewish when I say this. I think what matters is that we should all stand up and acknowledge the extraordinary bravery that we're seeing from the Iranian people who are taking to the streets, knowing that their lives could be cut short by this repressive regime who are out killing these protesters. I think it is extraordinary what we're seeing in Iran.
No, it is. It's obviously insane.
Interesting. He's on a book tour. He is talking about that. There are a few things where he overlaps with the president. That seems to be
far left activists largely silent on Iran protests. Again, that's because they're too busy trying to defend pedophiles and rapists in America that are being deported. One of them. It's pretty simple.
Well, they also like Iran, right? That's like, let's be honest. They need to like Iran because Iran is a big fucking ally to their overlord Russia. That's how that works.
Have some semblance of rights, and they're being killed. Where are the protests in New York City? You know why? There's no organizers. Can you imagine? They're worried about political agendas. They're not worried about the health and welfare of people that they've never met, like they pretend to care about the people of Gaza. They've been shown to stand for nothing.
Well, and the point's pretty obvious that the reason why you're...
Well, they stand against America. They hate America, and they will advocate for whatever is in the worst interest of America. And, like, whatever is antithetical to, you know, basically Western beliefs. That's where their value system comes from. Is it completely reactionary versus the civilization that they live in? It's a power trip? I mean, kind of, yeah, sure.
The protest
That's really all there is to it.
Over
Super
Gaza
simple.
Is because it's not involving
even though it's stupid, there it is.
If the message were anti-Israel, then the same crowd would be out there, but they're not because it's Iran and it's crickets.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I think that's it. Yeah, absolutely. Contrarians? Well, they're not contrarians. They just hate America. It's just that simple. Like, it's really not that complicated, okay? Like, this is more footage here. This is protesters this is live ammunition on January 8th. So this is 12 days ago, or more than that. 11 days ago. Less. Look. See? Man. Gunshot? Absolutely. Yep, I'm in full accelerationist mode. Yeah, they're literally just shooting bullets at the protesters. That's nuts. There should be crowds of leftists pushing for U.S. intervention. Well, you can't do that. I mean, they can't advocate for that because it's something that's negative towards the West, right? Or positive towards the West. And positive towards Israel, too. So because it's in Israel's best interest that Iran gets freed, unfortunately, we can't free Iran. You can't help Iran because now that would be helping Israel. And actually, have been hacked by the opposition. Millions of Iranian citizens inside of Iran will now see video messages from the Shah. And you have, like, this is also, like, straight out of, like, V for Vendetta. Look. Look. Man. It's so fucked? Yeah, it is. Why do we care about Iran? They cause problems everywhere. Yeah, they're causing problems everywhere and doing bullshit. Uh-oh, here we go. Apparently Anonymous claimed responsibility. Well, I hope they did it. I don't know who did it, but whoever did a good thing. So now they're literally beaming in. They're beaming in the Shah's messages to Iranian households on their TV system. Man. They're the ones financing all the Arabic terrorist organizations? Yeah, they're the main ones. That's cool. Yeah, this is actually a scene out of V for Vendetta. I remember that happened. Yeah, and they're probably like, what the fuck, right? And there's one more of these that's worth looking at too. Yep. It's a nice TV setup. Yeah, it is. So it's actually on the TV. W hackers? Absolutely W hackers. Every channel too? Yeah, apparently. It's like everywhere, and so now everybody's able to see this. Kurdish protesters began to climb walls around the U.S. consulate in Iraq. I mean, I would be getting the fuck out of there. Like, if it was the U.S., like, I'd be trying to get as many of my guys out of there as possible. Because, yeah, that kind of stuff is going insane.
It's almost food time. I like food time. PJ likes food. Even though I don't eat it all that much. I can't help it, okay? It's not my fault. This one's funny.
Welcome to another video, weirdos. Hope you like the setup. It's kinda new. Today we're going to be talking about a viral video where a young man who was being sentenced at his court hearing, well, he didn't like what the judge had to say, so he decided to vault over her desk to, well, get a little one-on-one time with her. And
in accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court
one time with her. And
in accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court
it did not go well for him. Unfortunately, not so great for the judge, but she's okay now. Hey there, future me here. Guess what? The young man that jumped the judge, well, he got arraigned. He went back to court with that judge to get his charges for the previous assault. And then he also went to court with a different judge.
I remember this.
To get his brand new set of charges for jumping on and attacking
The guy in the toilet, that's hilarious. I remember this.
with the police officers as they tried to pull him off of the judge. The video was put together from a live stream that I did on it. So if you want to check out the video without any edits, you can check out Angry Streams on the new streaming YouTube channel that I've created. Before we get to the WWE Royal Rumble and the SmackDown that happened in the courtroom, word from our sponsors. Fume! It's New Year's. Time for some New Year's resolutions, and maybe you want to cut back on a bad habit, but you're not really sure how to. Maybe that'll help. That's what Fume is here for. Fume is an innovative, award-winning device.
Fume.
Bad out of your
Isn't that how you say it? Fume.
Instead of vapor,
As there's a double thing on top of the U.
chemicals, Fume uses
Fume.
delicious flavors. Designed
Sorry.
with movable parts and magnets for your little fidgeting, so your fingies have something to do while you're trying to de-stress. Kick that bad habit. Fume has served over 150,000 customers, and it has thousands of success stories. There's no reason one of them can't be you. You can upgrade from a Journey pack to a Solano pack and enjoy the premium walnut barrel, Onyx black coated mouthpiece, and still get 10% off. Just be sure to go to tryfume.com/angrycops. Use code AngryCops for your 10% off. I'll link it below.
Tricia, it appears that Redden is an example of how the system can fail mentally ill defendants. His attorney explained that Redden has been diagnosed with schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. He'd been through mental health court twice amid a string of violent crimes. For the case today, he was initially charged with assault with a deadly weapon, but pled it down to attempted battery with substantial bodily harm.
Mr. Redden, is there anything you want to say on your own behalf before I pronounce sentence?
So basically, I would like to tell the courts here, like, based on the history, like, I feel that, like, I shouldn't be, like, sent to prison for a second time.
Have you looked at your criminal history? Have you looked at your criminal history?
Actually, just
He should have been sent to prison for a second time. He's already been to prison, right? He's already went to mental health court a couple of times. And apparently, even after mental health court, he still got sent to prison. By the way, it's very difficult. People don't want to send you to prison. It costs money to send you to prison. They'd rather put you on probation and just make sure you're okay for a while, right? It's like you're grounded.
I look at it.
I mean, you lived it, I suppose.
I just looked at it, yeah.
Oh, he fucking lived it.
3 felonies, a gross, 9 misdemeanors, multiple DVs. Got a lot going on, sir.
Yeah,
Bro, 3 felonies, 9 misdemeanors, multiple domestic violence. Dude's a woman beater. He's a wife beater, a significant other beater. But we need to have sympathy, right? We need to have sympathy. Because everybody knows that people with schizophrenia that are bipolar always beat women. They beat women all the time. Their loved ones constantly. Because it is an ailment, a symptom of their horrible, debilitating disease that they have, they can't help but beat the living shit out of their defenseless loved ones. They can't help it because they have schizophrenia. Anybody who is in mental health knows that this is a line of shit.
Got a lot going on, sir.
Yeah, I just figured like
Battery on a protected person.
Battery on a protected person, I would assume, means assault of a police officer. Sometimes they'll say battery, assault of a protected person, and that usually means like peace officers, police
What the
officers,
fuck, bro?
Judges,
Oh my god. What's going on with these mobs?
mail personnel, like if you're like a mailman, you assault a mailman, can't do that. That's a protected person. It's government officials that have to do a job, and that job could lead to butting heads with the public. And, you know, we'll use a judge, for example. A judge sentences somebody to something, they get out of jail, you know, then the guy comes over, stalks the judge, and beats the shit out of the judge. Not because the judge is a bad person, but because the judge affected their lives and in a negative way, even though that's their job. They have to, right? They have to determine guilty, not if it's a bench trial, and then how long a person stays in jail.
A protected person, robberies.
Robberies?
No doubt lots of questions to be answered in the wake of this, including inquiries into the possible failure of the system in dealing with mentally ill repeat offenders.
This news lady better tell me how a dude that's robbing people doesn't deserve to go to jail. How robbing an individual is a symptom of schizophrenia, bipolar disorder. Robbing. Dude, people with schizophrenia and bipolar disorder know what right and wrong is. People with schizophrenia may have difficulty with reality, right? And then like engaging in reality, obviously, you know, they'll see and hear things that aren't really there. They'll think that they're like a really big rap star or something like that. I've had people that thought they were rap
Dude,
stars.
stuck.
It can be true at once. You can be bipolar. You can have schizophrenia. You can also be a piece of shit. Give it to me.
It appears that Redden is an example of how the system can fail mentally ill defendants. His attorney explained that Redden has been diagnosed with schizophrenia and bipolar disorder.
And he's robbing people and beating the shit out of people in the street with weapons. And he's beating the shit out of loved ones that he's in relationship with, has domestic violence. Oh, but it's the system. The system's fault. It's the system. Oh, man. Why did we see that coming? Is Nevada like this super progressive, liberal, bleeding heart state? What is this? Look at her. Look at her. Look at her. Insert stupidity right here. Right there. Put it in right there. Because she's brain dead. She's gotten too many things in here, and now her brain is dead.
Attempt home invasion.
Court records show Judge Holthus oversaw one of Redden's previous cases for malicious destruction of property that was in court as recently as October. The two have a calm and matter-of-fact exchange, with Redden telling the judge he's a changed man, even indicating that he understands she must do what she feels is right in deciding whether to send him to prison for a second time.
A better place in my mind, my mental health. I have a support system. I just got hired as a teamster for the union, making $20 an hour. And like the reason behind every single domestic violence I've been dealing with mental health, and I didn't know that I was dealing with mental health. They put me in mental health court, and I still didn't know that I had a mental health problem. Until this August 2022, when I realized I have a problem with this.
They put me in mental health court, and then I didn't realize that I had mental health issues until well after I was done with my first bout of mental health court. Cool, man. Go to a loony bin prison then. We'll put you in a loony bin prison. But you're not safe. Dude, you are not safe. Let's say that he is horribly afflicted with a mental illness, and because of the mental illness he's violent, right? You still gotta go to a loony bin and figure shit out, man. You're not safe in public. You're going to a loony bin prison. You're gonna get some lithium, but you just can't be out in public beating the shit out of people because I had a bad day. No.
I appreciate that, but I think it's time that he gets a taste of something else because I just can't with that history. In accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court
Somebody saying, nah, fuck that mess, is what some people might call a red flag. In policing, we call that a clue, because that's going to tell us what's about to happen next, kids.
In the business, we call this
foreshadowing.
Okay, so this is when the fight starts. We've got, what's the time? We got 8 seconds. 8 seconds, right? And we're going to see when he gets pulled up off of her.
I appreciate that, but I think it's time to get a taste of something else because I just can't with that history. In accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada.
In the aftermath of the attack, panic ensues as it's clear more help is needed in the court.
Not 10 seconds. You could hold your breath and start whooping on a punching bag as hard and as fast as you could. Take 10 seconds and just flail on something. On a pillow, cushion, not one of your friends, neighbors, or loved ones. You get 10 seconds, you're throwing like 3 punches a second. This lady probably got slammed, choked, punched, kneed. She's getting kicked right now for 10 seconds. 10 seconds to get your shit stomped out of you is a long time. He's like kicking her, trying to grab at her. Ooh, there we go. That's a haymaker from Policeman right there. That was a good one. Did you see that? Let's watch that again.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
The hell's wrong with you, man?
Good left up. Wham! Oh, I think I can hear the connection. Oh, yeah, you hear that? Hold on. There's the left hook. There's the left hook of liberty. There is the left hook of liberty right there. The left hook of liberty. Coming in hot. Ready? Pow! Don't touch my judge! Don't you dare touch my judge, sir! Pow! You know your judo well. That guy dislocated his shoulder from serving a little bit of street justice. That's what happened. This is the court of street justice. If this guy beats his meat like he did this guy, that police officer's junk has got to be black and blue every day. He does need a POV. He does need a POV. You know what? Hey, we need to figure out who that fantastic officer is. I'm sure there's going to be a follow-up story later on. We need to figure out who that officer is, and I need to send him a POV. Get in my DMs on Instagram. I'm sure he goes into court bathrooms and takes like 10-minute shits, and he's on it. He's got to have an Instagram account to scroll through stuff. We got to get him a shirt. We need to get him a POV. He absolutely deserves it. And before I even hand it to him, before he gets it in the mail, good job. Good job. Good job. What irritates me is if you see the other side of this video, and especially this guy in the blue. This guy in the blue is the defense attorney, right? That's a public defender, I would assume, or his private attorney. So many people just stood there in the courtroom and watched this guy kick this shit out of the judge. And we're just like hoping that somebody jumps in. If that's not the perfect analogy for the world that me, police officers, live in, I don't know what is. We will be sitting there tussling with somebody, trying to prevent a robber or somebody, and everybody else just sits there and just goes, wow, I hope that cop can handle it. Dude, assist us. If you see a cop struggling with somebody, you get to kick somebody in the face for free. You can stop somebody as they're wrestling with the police officer, and the police officer's gonna go, I can't do that, but you can. Thank you so much for stopping this guy while I was trying to effect an arrest. You're the best. And all you have to say is, put your hands behind your back. Say whatever the cop is saying. If the cop's like, stop fighting, get on the ground, you just repeat that while you're doing the same thing. Grab a brick, pow, stop fighting, get on the ground, bah.
Not legal advice.
Hey there, future me here. Guess what? The young man that jumped the judge, well, he got arraigned. He went back to court with that judge to get his charges for the previous assault. And then he also went to court with a different judge to get his brand new set of charges for jumping on and attacking the original judge and tussling with the police officers as they tried to pull him off of the judge. First things first. Let's see how the attacked judge charges him and how that goes.
Good morning. All right, this is on for the continuation of Mr. sentencing. For the last year.
One. I'm not sure about this one. 2, 3, 4, 5. At least 6 police officers.
Arguments were concluded and the court had begun to pronounce sentence when an incident occurred. An incident initiated by Mr. Redden, preventing the court from completing sentencing. That is the sole purpose for today's hearing. And Any other issues that may arise from the events that occurred last Wednesday will be handled at a future date by a different court. For purposes of the record, I want to make it clear that I am not changing or modifying the sentence I was in the process of imposing last week before I was interrupted by defendant's actions.
Interrupted.
I am making my calendar page from that day an exhibit for the court. It's as it existed the moment I walked in. Prior to anything happening, nothing's been changed, indicating the sentence I intended to impose.
Oh, we know that incident. We know what occurred.
All right, that being said, in accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court does now sentence you in addition to the $25 administrative assessment fee.
Okay, so now we're going to get down to sentencing.
And $250 agency defense fee, 19 to 48 months in Nevada Department.
Look at my guy. They're not having a repeat of that Superman jump over top, that pole vaulting, that he should be in the Olympics. He jumped so high over that judge's freaking desk. He's got looks like boxing gloves over his hands. He's chained at the waist and he's got a spit hood on. No chances. And if you watch the deputies, they're staring at him the entire time.
19 to 48 months in the correction. How much credit for time served does he have?
This guy's like, try something. Oh, please try something. Right?
19 to 48 months. So 2 years. We got 2 years. Maximum. Maximum for his previous battery that he was in court for. Not including this judge's one, right? Just 19 to 48 months.
It's 0 days. He was on probation. The defense was revoked on probation.
He was on probation when he committed the offense. Our dude slipping through the cracks, right? This whole story's about him slipping through the cracks from channel bumfuck. He was already on probation for beating the shit out of somebody. He was beat the shit out of somebody. And then he beats the shit out of somebody again. Some people.
That's an addition as of right now.
Look at my guy itching his face with those big red mittens. His face.
As of right now.
Look at my guy itching his face with those big red mittens. It looks like he's got Tic Tacs over his hands. It looks like he's trying to compete in American Gladiator. Look at him. He's got like the pugil stick hands. He's got pugil hands. Oh, man. I mean, I feel bad for him, but I don't feel bad for him. Hysterical. That looks... Oh, it's like he's got a wiffle ball bat taped to his hands. So then he can... Whoever he punches can be like, dude, you need... Hey, please stop. Jeremy, look at me. Look at me, Jeremy. Stop hitting me. You've got your pugil hands on. You cannot hurt me with your pugil hands. Okay, now they sweep him away. But that's not the end of it, right? That was his sentencing for an attack, a battery, previous to him jumping on the judge, right? He was there talking to the judge that he jumped on for a prior event. That's what he was getting charged with here. This is the end of that whole investigation in court, rigmarole, etc. Now, he's going to be arraigned by another judge for the attack on the judge we just saw. All right? So that previous event that he was in court for, which led to the attack on the judge, all done and over with, right? 19 to 14. So we're about to see him walk into court and get arraigned and get his charges for attacking the judge and fighting with the police officers that made that whole huge viral video. Let's see what he's getting charged with. I bet you it's a laundry list.
Hello, are you Mr. Redden?
Yes, I am.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Redden. Good to see you again. This time, no spit mask. Just a normal mask. Must have COVID.
Okay, I have a few housekeeping matters to handle before we handle his case, in anticipation of me appointing the public defender to represent him. There are multiple media requests. There were multiple orders amended several media orders to not allow live streaming.
She doesn't want to allow live streaming because she doesn't want another incident, which is smart. It's pretty smart. Judge being like, hey, listen, you're not jumping on me and getting any more attention. You're not going to make a circus out of this, so nobody's live streaming it. Okay.
Because I do not allow live streaming. So to the extent initial appearance court allowed live streaming, I have amended all of those orders.
Oh my God, the haircut on this woman. That is a Karen haircut. You just attacked Karen's friend, and she's about to Karen your life apart.
All right, as for disclosures, before I appoint Mr. Redden, I want to disclose under Judicial Canon 2.11, Comment 5, that I do know Judge Mary Kay Holthus. I know her very casually and only professionally. I've never socialized with her outside, say, a professional event. I do, for instance, not know her phone number. I don't think she knows mine. We're not connected on social media. I've never worked at the district attorney's office, where I believe she worked for her entire career. Her daughter is a deputy district attorney on my track. However, the chief has assured me that Kennedy Holthus will not appear on any of Mr. Redden's appearances. Therefore, I see no reason to recuse. However, I make those disclosures.
She's got a Vegas Knights chair. She's a hockey fan. That's a hockey mom right there. You don't fuck with hockey moms or hockey mom's friends or the people that hockey moms work with. I take it back. It's not Karen. She's a hockey mom. I was like, it's not Karen enough. That haircut is not Karen-y enough. It's kind of Karen-esque, but now that I see the Vegas Knights symbol in the back, she's a hockey mom. You're fucked. I mean, I don't want to say it's worse than a Karen.
You're fucked.
A hockey mom just gets business done. You see her going on about it. I don't know her. I know her professionally. Her daughter works for me. That's it. She's off the case. We're doing this. Everything is fine. There is no bias. Prepare to get butt fucked by the law. Get him. Get him, hockey mom, judge. Judge. Hockey mom. Judge Sullivan.
Mr. Redden, have you been given a copy of the criminal complaint this morning?
Yes, I have been given one.
You're being charged with count 1, attempt murder, victim 60 years of age or older, a felony.
Attempted murder! Oh, fuck! He must have choked her. If he... attempted murder of a judge. Fuck me running.
Bye-bye.
This guy done fucked up.
He's not getting out.
Now you fucked up!
Count 2, battery on a protected person resulting in substantial bodily harm, victim 60 years of age or older, a felony. Count 3, extortion by threat, a felony. Count 4, intimidating a public officer, a felony. Count 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are all battery on an officer, the same named victim. Oh, and by the way, I do not know any of the other victims named in the criminal complaint. Those are all felonies. Performance of act or neglect of duty and willful or wanton disregard of safety or person's property resulting in substantial bodily harm or death, a felony. Battery on a protected person, count 11, that's a gross misdemeanor offense. Count 12, battery by a prisoner, a felony. Count 13, unlawful act related to human excrement or bodily fluid, a felony. All allegedly occurring on January 3rd of 2024. Do you understand these charges?
Dude, that's 12 felonies and a gross misdemeanor.
Aha! The number of the day is 13!
I don't know what a gross misdemeanor is. We have A and B in New York. B is like low level, A is high level, highest level misdemeanor. 12 felonies. 1 misdemeanor. Attempted murder. Oh, fuck.
Can you afford to hire a private lawyer of your own expense? Are you a veteran or a member of our military?
Are you a veteran or a military member? Could you imagine if he said yes? What a shit show. Well, there you have it. I think the lesson that we've all learned today, don't go after a judge. Sure, politically, yeah, in the news, all right, but in court, attacking a judge is a no-no. Now, if you want to support the channel, the best way to do that is to grab yourself a shirt at the angry-cops.com store. Look at that. Death before dismount. Ooh, look, an E4 Mafia shirt. 50. All right. See you next time, weirdos. I got your back, officer.
I wonder what he had, what he actually got, because that was an old story, right? Guy who jumped at judge. What did he get? 26 years in. Wait, what? Between 26 and 65 years in prison. Oh, it's a good thing these retards always take themselves out, right? Like, you were gonna get 2 years, bro. At best, now you got 65. Or at worst, now you got 65. Was it worth it? Retard. Hilarious.
I think everybody made a mistake in this situation, but only one person got executed.
I'm a lawyer. I've been trained. I've read a lot about the law of self-defense. This was the most obvious self-defense shoot I've seen in quite some time.
Really? She's barely
When you make
moving.
it to a grocery store parking lot, Will, how do you get out of Walmart without shooting somebody?
Women have been sort of weaponized. There's women screaming, shoot me at ICE officers. They're physically fighting with these people. Well, you're 48, you're morbidly obese, and you're not armed and you have no training, so they'll just knock you over.
Hello, we'd like to ask where the money's going.
What was this money spent on?
Tim Walz got caught red-handed. He could have stopped the fraud a long time ago. For that reason, he's decided not to run for re-election.
Many millions of people around the world have now seen the distressing footage of an ICE agent fatally opening fire on 37-year-old Renee Good.
Distressing. It's not that distressing. Tragic, sure.
The wildly opposing views
Distressing,
of what happened to
not even remotely.
entrenched. For many whose impulse is to defend law enforcement wherever possible, this video of the officer's perspective was the proof they needed that Renee Good was in the wrong. Anybody who says they know definitively what was going on in either of their minds is lying, but it does seem clear that both made mistakes. Officers are trained not to stand in a vehicle's path and to not shoot at moving vehicles. Renee Good shouldn't have been obstructing the road, and she shouldn't have ignored the very clear instructions she was given. But she's not a domestic terrorist, as many in the Trump administration have tried to say. She's the mother of a young boy, and she didn't surely deserve to die. It's easy to be an expert after the fact. This was clearly an emotional and chaotic few seconds for both of the people involved. But the officer broke the law should still be enforced. George Floyd and BLM led to waves of total insanity in the United States. Right now, looks like people on both sides of the argument have learned, well, pretty much nothing at all. We'll be debating all that with journalist and commentator Geraldo Rivera, Will Chamberlain, senior counsel with the Article 3 Project, Tim Miller, commentator with The Bulwark, and first I'll be speaking to Nick Shirley, the YouTuber, whose work on alleged Somali fraud has prompted the federal investigations. Nick Shirley, welcome to Uncensored.
Thank you, Pierce. How's it going?
Good. I mean, when listen, all due respect, I'd never heard of you until about 2 weeks ago, and then suddenly you're the guy who's made the video watched by about 140 million people. First of all, what's that been like for you?
Yeah, it's been interesting. I've been doing YouTube, making these like documentary style journalism videos for a very long time now, for over 2 years. And I've known about this fraud happening for a while. And so when I was able to meet up with the man by the name of David in that video to go out and investigate the fraud, obviously resonated with a lot of people, knowing that fraud is happening here inside the United States and that we were able to show it open and blatantly for the people to see.
You have, I believe, part 2 coming out imminently. What can you tell me about what's in that?
Yeah, so the daycare fraud's it's only one part of the fraud. There's a lot of more fraud that's happening in Minnesota, especially with these companies called non-emergency medical transportation vehicle companies that kind of uphold a lot of the fraud, so that way these companies and they're able to continue getting money with these welfare programs.
You've been criticized by a lot of people and praised by a lot of people. Tim Walz, Minnesota's Democratic governor, announced he wouldn't seek re-election in the aftermath of your video going so viral. In the days
Sneaky.
before the announcement, he said you were
Key not needed.
a far-right YouTuber, a delusional conspiracy theorist, but then he made his own announcement about not seeking re-election. What's your message to Tim Walz?
Yeah, I think Tim Walz got caught red-handed. He's known about the fraud since 2019. He's been saying he's been fighting fraud for that long. He's even said that organized crime is happening is at a fault for a lot of the stuff that's happening inside Minnesota. And so he could have stopped the fraud a long time ago. And he knew about the fraud for a very long time. So for me to go there and with one day show the fraud happening openly for everyone to see, obviously Tim Walz, he got caught. And for that reason, he's decided not to run for re-election.
You've had people in mainstream media being quite sneering about you and your journalism, but conversely, do you think mainstream media has failed the American people by not doing the very kind of thing that you were doing in this video?
Yeah, 100%. Everyone else had the opportunity as well to go and make this video and go talk to the people and hear what a lot of people were messaging me about this fraud. That's why I went and did the video.
Oh, I see how it works.
Because that's what Minnesotans wanted me to do. I had received thousands of messages beforehand.
Have you had a bad reaction in terms of people threatening you since this?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you expose fraud, a lot of the fraudsters are going to be upset. And then it turned into a race and political issue. When I was just going to show fraud that was taking place, this was never meant to be a right or left issue. It was just to show that fraud is happening in that.
It's like with the chests, you can open chests through walls with the interact button, but there's a fucking lever on the other side of the wall to open the gates. So if you don't have the key, you can activate the lever from the other side of the gate without having the key, and because the lever, you don't need the key. Like it acts like, yeah, you just open the door from the other side.
Fraud is bad.
That's hilarious.
And you see how it becomes a race and political issue, and that was never the intention of the video.
I mean, one of the things that's happened is that a lot of people have come out and they kind of tarred the whole Somali community with the same brush of being fraudsters. That's upset a lot of people in that community who are not criminally minded. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's tough because the fraud that's happening in Minnesota, 89% of the fraud that is happening is from Somalians. And so that's just a fact about the issue, is that a lot of the fraud being committed is by Somalians. There's also a white woman who was in charge of feeding our future, who's locked up in prison. And then you also had a man who got convicted and charged of $7.2 million in Medicaid fraud, but a white liberal judge let him walk and reversed that. So you're seeing how this political correctness has enabled this fraud to happen.
What do you feel? Now, we're going to bring the rest of the panel in a moment, but this video of the ICE officer shooting Renee Good, what is your, we've all had a chance to watch this from multiple angles now for the last week. What is your view about what happened?
Yeah, it's super sad. And I've gone to these protests, I've talked to these people, and she put herself in a position where the officer was duty bound to protect himself as well. The officer obviously doesn't want to feel like his life's in threat, and she shouldn't be putting the officer's life in threat. And do I think he should have shot her? I don't know. I'm not in the position of the officer, but like I said, he's duty bound to protect himself, and she shouldn't have put herself in that position. She knew what she was doing. She was impeding a federal law enforcement investigation.
But do you actually think she was trying to run him down?
I do. If you watch the video, she was obviously aiming towards there, and then there's even a moment before where she hit the gas and the tire didn't catch tread. Who knows what would have happened if the tires did catch tread and she was able to do it, and her girlfriend was saying, "Drive, baby, drive."
But that could be just to get away rather than run anybody over.
Yeah, that could be, but if you watch the video, her tires are aimed at the officer, and she hit the gas, and luckily her tread did not catch beforehand as well.
He's really nervous. I get it. I'd probably be too.
Okay, let's bring in the rest of the panel. You're going to stay with us, Nick. Tim Miller, this has been an unbelievably divisive story. my view is, having watched this many times now from every possible angle, is that everybody involved made mistakes, but that ultimately that woman should not have been shot dead. And no one can persuade me otherwise. I do not believe the videos collectively show.
Then why even bother having this discussion if you're just gonna stick with your tribalist fucking view of it? Piers is such a retard, man. Sometimes he just says something that's like so utterly moronic. Like, well, no one can convince me otherwise. Then why talk about it, retard? Just shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down then, right?
Showed her deliberately trying to run anybody over. And in fact, her demeanor prior to this happening a few seconds earlier is the converse of being confrontational. So there's no suggestion there that she had any malicious intent towards running people over, and yet she's dead. What's your view of this?
Stupid games, stupid prizes.
I thought that she was aiming for him. I agree with you, Piers. I think everybody made a mistake in this situation, but only one person got executed. And so I think we should look into why that was and what happened there, and just be honest about what happened. He greeted, the officer, Jonathan Ross, had seen her, as you mentioned, 20 seconds before he shot her, and she said to him, "That's fine, dude, I'm not mad at you." She was smiling. He could see into the car. There's a dog in the back seat. There are children's toys in the passenger seat.
And then she gunned the gas and hit him.
Of the car, and then he walks around to the front. She's backing up, and as she starts to move away, this car's moving like 2 miles an hour. It's not moving any faster than any car does in any grocery store parking lot anywhere in America. The wheel is clearly pointing away, moving away for him, and then he shoots her.
He can't see that,
Not just one
and it's
time,
also a lie.
But then he shoots her a second time and a third time through the side.
Oh, I just looked over and realized who was talking. It's the idiot that can't crease his baseball cap. Yep. Retard alert! Retard alerts! Warning! Warning!
Side window. Like when he fires the third shot, he's completely to the side of the car. He's not in any danger at all. And so I just don't see how anybody could see this and think that this person like legitimately felt like his life was in danger. I'd also note that he has a couple colleagues that are standing there. None of them pulled their weapon. None of them seemed to think his life was in danger. And then after the car with the dead driver goes away, he walks to it easily, and he calls her a fucking bitch.
No, that was confirmed to be someone else. Or actually, I'm not sure if that was confirmed, but it's alleged that that was someone else. One of the other officers.
I just look. I think this is a very clear situation. I think everybody trying to make this.
It is a very clear situation, and you're lying about it, bro. Through your fucking retarded teeth.
Are just intentionally spinning for the administration because they're hacks, or like maybe they're just very easily scared individuals who I don't know how you would get through life by thinking that somebody in that situation
Imagine being this much of a liar.
Was in danger of.
Unapologetically, I might add.
He says nonsense. Why do you say that? New Year is all about starting afresh, and today's.
Well, saying that people are scared when they're acting in lawful self-defense is offensive. Basically, every way that Tim characterized that was just unbelievably uncharitable to the police officer who clearly shot in self-defense. He was directly in front of the vehicle when Miss Good hit the accelerator. Now, maybe she was going to continue turning, but maybe she wasn't. He was 2 feet in front of it, and that woman had just defied a lawful order to be detained. I mean, we have to understand, before this happened, and that's not, again, not to say that she deserved to be shot. This execution thing is so frivolous because it's not about her being given punishment for her actions. It's about her creating the scenario in which another person felt a reasonable fear of deadly injury. Well, she committed multiple felonies in this context. Parking her car in the middle of the road, obstructing a law enforcement investigation. And then finally, this aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. A car is not a trivial thing. And I mean, you think about police stops all over the country. The primary danger is people fleeing in their vehicles with which are 2 tons of metal coming at them. It's also not just self-defense; it's defense of others as well. There's a person hanging onto the side of the car right there who could easily be dragged along.
All right, but Will, you and I had an exchange on X about whether this constitutes domestic terrorism. I think that's such a ridiculous phrase to use about what we've all witnessed with our own eyes here. She's not a domestic terrorist. She wasn't trying to commit an act of terrorism against this ICE officer. Now, I happen to think that what may be a key part of this is that it emerged that 6 months earlier, the same ICE officer had been dragged by
Completely irrelevant to the situation at hand.
a car in a similar situation, hundreds of yards, and had suffered injuries and probably a lot of trauma, right? We don't know how much trauma, but how much was that playing on his mind when he's there? He's ignored his training, which is that ICE officers should not be standing in front of a car in that situation, nor should they fire at a moving vehicle.
He wasn't. She backed up and put him in front of the car. Like, there's nothing but lies here, dude. Like, how are you gonna talk about something when you clearly have no fucking idea what happens? I don't believe he saw the video at all, dude.
Last part is certainly incorrect. When you are allowed to fire at a moving vehicle in self-defense or in defense of others.
Right. If you genuinely think your life is in danger, right? Now the question. So the question is.
That's not.
I'm sorry.
I
How
mean,
does firing at a moving vehicle make you more safe? This doesn't even make sense, Piers. Again, she's barely moving. If you shoot someone, as we saw with that car, if you shoot someone driving,
I think the point I'm making, Tim,
they're
is-
going to lean forward and press on the gas.
Yeah,
it
but
makes
Tim,
it more
I'll
dangerous.
let me bring.
They won't, but this is
and then he's on the
standard
side of the
policy.
car.
The point I'm making, is we don't know what was in anyone's minds. I think it's quite likely that what was in the mind of this ICE officer is what happened to him 6 months earlier, right? And it may be that he panicked because he feared the same thing happening again. I'm not excusing or justifying what he did. I'm explaining what may end up being one of the factors involved here. It doesn't seem to me to be irrelevant that the same guy was dragged by a car and could potentially have been killed in that incident 6 months earlier.
Well,
But
my point is, I think that there's no
everybody
need
is
to
ignoring the
excuse them.
original sin. Hold on a second. I haven't spoken yet. Everybody's
Oh, I'm
ignoring
sorry.
the original sin.
The retard Geraldo Rivera hasn't spoken yet. Oh, let's all hear the wisdom of the fucking idiots. Geraldo Rivera. Remember the fucking, what was it? Jimmy Hoffa safe and there was nothing in it? Bro, you're such a fucking joke, man. Shut the fuck up. Nobody wants to hear what you say, bro.
Which was to use a brigade-sized deployment of paramilitary forces.
Here we go.
To presumably, or reportedly, or the pretense was to go after the worst of the criminal aliens. Did that happen? Absolutely not. What happened instead? You had this deployment of these mass desperados, 2,000 strong, descending on the community.
I knew we were gonna hear some retarded shit the moment I saw his face,
There
bro.
was hostility on both sides from the get-go.
His dumbass mustache. One part's pointing up, the other part's going like all the way down.
Enforcing immigration law to begin with.
Holy fucking, what a
This was
retard, dude.
Bait and switch. This was using the specter of immigration. I'm surprised they didn't bring in transgender aliens.
The first top
This was
comments, all the top comments are talking about Geraldo being a retard.
What did they get for all this? Aside
That's
from
funny.
the dead Renee Good, the dead woman. What did they get? They say they arrested 500 or detained 500 undocumented immigrants so far in this operation in Minneapolis, in the Twin Cities. 500. How many of the 500 were the worst of the worst? Is it not a fact that
Does it
70%
matter?
of the American
They're
people
illegally.
oppose the way,
They're already,
this
by
deployment has
default,
gone
criminals.
down? The Trump administration set the stage for this catastrophe, this tragedy to happen. The southern border, Piers, as you pointed out correctly, has been sealed now for months. There's zero influx of undocumented immigrants.
Sounds like he's doing his job
the
then.
supply of the problem has been cut
Yep.
off. Isn't it time now for President Trump to use some common sense?
We've got
and
an imbecile, a complete imbecile, a bit of a moron, and then Nick Sorter and a lawyer.
some compassion, for God's sakes.
Okay,
Some compassion.
Can I respond?
Yeah, well, you respond, yeah.
Yeah, first, I mean, is there some list of federal laws that federal authorities are not allowed to enforce? You should probably inform them of that. I think that's a little bit ridiculous. And
What
second,
are
if
you
we're going to go
talking
to
about?
a
What are you
whoa,
talking nonsense? You're talking nonsense.
You're
Talk
basically saying
radio
the federal government's
nonsense.
not allowed to enforce immigration law because you actually need to bring in large numbers
They
of people
are allowed
detain
to enforce
aliens.
immigration laws. What they are not allowed to is to impose a police state with attitudes and long guns. When did you
If you
see
want to know
mass
who's at
cops?
fault for
Hold on a
that,
second.
it's the
When
sanctuary
did you see mass
jurisdictions.
cops? I don't know how much police work you've done. I've done a lot for the last over 50 years.
I doubt
you
it.
don't bring masked, heavily armed
I
SWAT
doubt
team,
it.
Effectively SWAT team or Delta Force, a kind of combatants into a situation where the problem is undocumented immigration. If
Bro,
that's the
Geraldo
problem,
Geraldo
you go
Rivera is
and
such
you
a fucking retard, dude. Every time he opens his mouth, I can feel my brain cells dying.
ways of
What a
dealing
fucking
with
moron,
the social
bro.
problem. It's immigration.
My
As
God.
I said, the supply has been cut off of immigrants. Now's the time. What about the dreamers? The kids brought here at an early age who've been here and committed no crime. Isn't
We're
it
far
time for
afield
them to
now.
get? I think
your
that
specific
you're not
point- I
far
wanna answer
afield.
your two
Isn't the
specific
issue
points very quick.
undocumented immigration? Isn't that
Oh.
what you're talking about?
Hello?
Illegal aliens, so-called? Isn't
You
that
say
what
they
we're
can't be
talking about?
masked. They're masked because the radical left and Antifa.
Cops are never masked. State troopers
And
are
if
never
you're
masked.
mad about
Marshals
the
are never
policy
masked.
question,
SWAT's
right, let's
masked.
make this point. If you're mad about the policy
That's
problem,
police.
which is the fact that the administration needs to send in militarized forces that are ready for responses, that's because Minnesota has sanctuary state policies and doesn't cooperate with detaining criminal aliens. In other states, they don't need to send in VORTAC
What's
to
the
detain
what's the
people
rush?
because
They did it here in New Orleans, Will.
safely at
Supply
the
is
well.
cut off.
It's the Minnesota
If the
state
supply
authorities
is
that are
cut
responsible
off,
for creating dangerous situations like the one that happened in Minneapolis.
Okay, but look, Geraldo, we can obviously none of this is irrelevant, but in terms of the actual incident itself, what do you feel about what happened there?
In my heart of heart, and remember, I've covered every war
Bro,
in Central.
in your heart of heart, what are you, a woman? How about you reason from evidence and logic instead of your fucking emotions, who nobody gives a fuck about?
America. Every
I don't give a
war in
fuck
the
what your
Middle
heart of
East,
hearts is.
Afghanistan, 11 assignments. Iraq, 11 assignments. I've seen guns and firing and
Emotional appeal, emotional appeal, emotional appeal. Got anything grounded in actual fucking fact and real life? No, that's what I thought.
mistake
Shut the fuck
by
up, sit the
those
fuck
officers
down.
Who aggressively sought to confront, as you peers have clearly laid out. The woman in that car presented no threatening image. Look at the car. That's the weapon that makes her a domestic.
Right up until she hits the gas, that's where she presented a deadly threat, and that's where she got shot in the face. Tragic, yes. Deserved? Probably.
Terrorist. That car moving at 2 miles an hour, then 5 miles an hour. The wheels clearly turned to the right. Come on, I'm sick of.
He can't see the wheels. Not to mention the wheels were turned to the left the first time she fucking hit the gas and her wheels spun out on the ice. These people are lying and they know they're lying. You have to give these people repercussions for lying. You cannot have a press that will lie to you. There needs to be checks and balances. There needs to be the freedom of the press for a free society, but there also needs to be the truth of the press. And if you are caught lying, like this guy is doing right now, very fucking clearly, you should see very serious legal repercussions.
The excuses. It's one thing to have.
Because you are, in essence, basically destroying freedom and democracy, right? By literally spouting pure nonsense propaganda.
Ideology and be as conservative as you want to be, but don't make up a situation with it fails right there when you say domestic terrorism.
I made a video, man. Go watch it. I made a video on Don Lemon being a literal terrorist, in my opinion. It's 25 minutes. I'm going off for food after this, so.
McVeigh, 1995,
You got time.
Oklahoma City. You want to see a domestic terrorist? He killed 168 American men, women, and children. That's a domestic terrorist, or the Unabomber,
Yeah, that's
or
how-
Luigi
that's how
Mangione,
I felt.
or
I
any
felt-
you name them.
Today's show is sponsored by Veracity and their metabolic power protein. Let's be honest, life moves fast and regular meals sometimes don't have the punch we need. Veracity focuses on the root cause of many health issues. Metabolic health, metabolic power protein delivers 20 grams of plant-based protein in just 2 scoops without all the unnecessary sugar and calories in other products. It's all natural and developed by doctors, allowing you to get the protein you need and support your metabolism with 2 easy scoops every morning. It's also third-party tested for toxins and heavy metals. So get the protein in your diet the natural way with Veracity. Head to veracityhealth.co and use code PEERS, P-I-E-R-S, for up to 45% off your order. Once again, that's veracityhealth.co for up to 45% off, and make sure you use my promo code PEERS,
Yeah.
so they know I sent
Yeah,
you.
he's fully justified.
Yeah, I just feel it trivializes the phrase to the point where it becomes
No,
meaningless.
absolutely. Absolutely. It's
Let me bring Nick Shirley back in here. I mean, the thing is, Nick, because of camera phones now, so much of this stuff we can analyze for ourselves. I think that when you see J.D. Vance, Donald Trump and others, and they try and tell us something that we just haven't seen with our own eyes. In other words, they want us to look at a video in a way that just doesn't represent what we watched. No one can convince me that what we saw there was a woman whose demeanor leading up to that was intent on causing harm to that officer and who then wanted to run him over. I've just seen nothing that shows that. Now, if it did, I would say so. I think part of the problem with these stories is everyone takes their partisan political position to its extremity immediately, almost as a defensive mechanism. In other words, the left immediately took the position, right, this is obvious, clear evidence the ICE are a bunch of Nazis and they murdered her in cold blood and blah, blah, blah. And then the people on the right immediately go the opposite way. This woman brought it on herself. She's a radicalized left-wing lunatic. She's a lesbian. She's this, she's that. And I think all of that is wrong. All of that distorts the debate about what happened here, which is I think everybody made mistakes. She shouldn't have behaved the way that she did. He shouldn't have done what he did. It was a situation in which we've watched in slow freeze frame, but actually in real time was very, very quick. And I think this guy was suffering from a little bit of trauma from what happened to him a few months earlier, and he reacted instinctively. And it may well be he genuinely did fear that he was going to get hurt. But he shouldn't have been in front of the car to start with. That's against their training.
He wasn't. She put him there by backing up and turning the car, so now he's directly in front of the... Oh, the lying is what gets me, man. And I think Pierce is just a retard. I don't think he's actually lying. I think he just doesn't visually, understand what he sees.
So all of it was governed by a series of errors. Why can't it just be that? Why can't we all just be honest about what we've watched?
Yeah, it's an ugly situation on both sides, right? You have a lady who's impeding a federal law enforcement investigation. She shouldn't be in the middle of the road. And then if you watch the body cam footage from the ICE officer, he did get hit. And that same officer had been dragged 300 feet beforehand just a few months ago. And so who of us is to say whether or not we felt like his life was at threat? Maybe he felt like his life was at threat, and therefore that's why he shot. And why is that lady impeding a federal law investigation in front and has her car stopped while they're doing a targeted ICE raid? And so obviously there's wrongs on both sides, but you can't justify, no one wants to see a woman get killed, but you can't also say, well, that officer was in the wrong because maybe he did think that his life was at threat. And when we watch the video, it's instantaneously, it's within a few seconds.
Well, it's interesting, Tim
I'm
Miller,
sorry,
because
Piers.
Tim, I mean, the point I would make, Tim, is that from a purely legal perspective, put aside the morality of what happened or anything else, from a pure lawful perspective,
into your
I
bank.
suspect it's quite likely that this officer will not end up being successfully prosecuted for this.
Look, that's going to be a question for a jury, Piers. But the point, look, people are on the right. A lot of folks are praising Nick for just honesty in journalism when they felt that there was, not honest things were being said about the daycares. Can we just be honest about this?
Damn it.
There is no way this person's life was at risk. The third shot, no one will address this. The third shot that he shoots, the third shot, he is to the side of the car. He shoots her through the...
This guy is talking about a 0.7 second difference. Between the first shot and the third shot, this happens in under a second. 0.7 seconds. Pop, pop, pop. That's it. And he's this retard that can't even wear a cap with the fucking cap creased. You look like a fucking dumb... You look as dumb as you sound. doesn't understand that those 3 shots are viewed as 1 shot because it's 0.7 seconds. Right? Like, that's 1 shoot. That's not 3 different. You're not making another, like, you don't shoot and then within 0.2 seconds realize, oh, now I'm good, I don't have to shoot no more. No, you shoot until the thread's gone. Right? Holy fucking shit.
Through the driver's side window. The car has already passed him. And then he calls her a fucking bitch. Like, this guy's life is
Again,
threatened.
that's not alleged. That's alleged. Because it's also alleged that someone else said the words fucking bitch.
You're trying to make this, and others, they try to say it's a both sides thing. Oh, it's a partisan. Obviously, the Trumpers defend him and the never Trumpers don't. That's not true. If you look at Tim Dillon, who's a pro-Trump podcaster, Joe Rogan just today has said this was totally inappropriate and wrong. Piers, you know, at times you've called it both ways, but you've been friendly with Trump. You're seeing it clearly. The only 28% of the country in a recent poll said this shoot was appropriate.
Yes. Let's all follow the law based on our emotions.
Only 64% of Republicans, like any 10% of independents, nobody who looks at this with open eyes can think this was justifiable. I'm sorry, that's just the truth. Like, we should just be honest about it.
It's fully justifiable.
There's no reason to kill that woman with her kids' toys in the passenger seat.
Well, Will Chamberlain, why do you say Tim Miller's making that up?
Well, he's essentially accusing all of us of bad faith. Like, I'm a lawyer. I've been trained. I've read a lot about the law of self-defense. This was the most obvious self-defense shoot I've seen in quite some time.
Really?
Since Rittenhouse.
Come on.
Really?
Absolutely. He's directly in front of the car, 2 feet in front of the car.
And she's barely
Make
moving.
it to a grocery store parking
What have
lot,
this 3
Will?
times?
How do you get out of Walmart without shooting somebody? I'm hoping you're not carrying a weapon when you're going through the
I
grocery
don't know.
store
Most of
parking
the
lot.
time,
Because
I'm
every
not
day
personally
across the
fleeing an
country,
arrest.
people
Do
are
you
more scared
regularly
than this
flee
guy.
arrests,
This is crazy.
lawful arrests by police officers? Is this like the normal thing on the left now? Like, apparently, like, you guys are all for law enforcement until it comes time to actually enforce the law.
Hey, Will, I have a question for you. How many people do you think should have been murdered on January 6th? How many people do you think the Capitol Police should have killed that day? How many, just based
I don't
on
think
your
they
theory of
should, in the sense
self-defense,
like,
how many people should
that
they have killed?
anybody, in the sense that I don't think Renee Good should have been killed. But I actually think the Ashley Babbitt and Good situations
using
are
the justification
very
of
analogous.
self-defense.
Yeah, they're both
justifiably
justified. Like, this guy's an actual. This is how big of an imbecile the idiot with the fucking straight flat cap is, right? And it is proof positive that this guy is a tribalist lunatic, all right? Because there is no functional difference between those 2 shoots. They're both justified. Crazy how that works, right? But if you're on the left, then the Renee Good is not justified, but Ashley Babbitt is. But if you're on the right, Ashley Babbitt isn't justified, but Renee Good is. Meanwhile, I'm in the middle saying, yeah, both were probably justified. Crazy how that works, right?
Renee Good put herself
I'm
in the
asking you,
position
how many
of doing this
justifiably
incredibly
could have been
dangerous
killed
thing.
on
So did
January 6th?
Ashley Babbitt. She
Well, I
committed
think,
felonies
yeah,
that
but I
put a
think,
police
well,
officer in a
Will,
position who needed
but
to
Will,
defend
the
themselves.
argument you and I had, Will, was about this phrase domestic terrorism, and I made the point, which other people had raised anyway.
That I don't agree with. She was not a domestic terrorist. She was just a lunatic, an idiot that fucking massively fucked up and put her own life at risk. And sadly, tragically, lost it. No more, no less. She's not a domestic terrorist. She was trying to get away and she didn't care if she hit police. Well, she hit police and the police took her out. That's consequences. That's how life worked, guys.
Which is, you know, that was on January the 6th. By that criteria, you could argue that everyone that was violent that day was a domestic terrorist. Would you agree with that? You think they were?
I agree. I think I have a broader view of domestic terrorism than apparently you do. The use of violence or the threat of violence for political ends in this country is domestic terrorism. And by that definition, both Renee Good and Ashley Babbitt were domestic terrorists.
I'm not sure about that.
I don't think that applies to the people who were peacefully
I do think they're
walking
both
through the Capitol,
justified,
for instance.
but I don't
That's
think
not-
they were.
That's not violence.
Yeah.
But anybody who tried to swing at a cop on January 6th, yeah, that's domestic terrorism. I said that on that day.
All right, Geraldo, what do you feel? I mean, we've discussed the domestic terrorism part, but we are living in a weird time where we all watch the same video, and yet many people can have completely different interpretations of what they're watching.
It's because you're ideologically captured.
A lot of it. I'm not saying this about Will. Only you know, but I'm not disputing that you're saying what you're saying in good faith. But I think so many people now do say stuff in bad faith. They will see something, and if it doesn't suit their own side's agenda, they will argue.
Another one. Geez, I had 4 of these. The fuck?
They just will. Because that's where we've got to. And it's fueled by social media. And I also think social media is responsible for a lot of what was going on with the 2 women here, with Renee Good and her partner, where you see the partner actively goading the ICE officers all on camera as well, to make herself a bit of a social media hero, perhaps. All of this is fueled by social media. But where does that leave us as a society?
I think that that's an excellent question, but I think the litmus test for this particular situation or this population, you cannot, if you have to wear a mask when you go to work, then inherently there is dishonor in the work that you're doing.
No. If you have to wear a mask because otherwise freak lunatics will dox you and harass your family, there is a problem with your country. See how easily that is turned around? Geraldo Rivera, you fucking retard moron. I hate this guy so much, bro. Again, Geraldo Rivera, Jimmy Hoffa, safe. Look it up. That's how fucking retarded this loser is. He does everything for what's the term? Shit, I can't think of it. Oh no, it's performative bullshit for drama. There's a term for that, but I can't think of it right now. Like, he's a liar. He's straight up a liar. He will lie to you if it suits his drama. He's drumming up drama, nothing more, nothing less. The dude is a straight up liar. He knows he's a liar. There's no way he doesn't know, because anyone who watches that footage immediately can tell what the fuck happened, right? Not to mention, I don't see him making this point about all the Antifa fucks. Weird how that works, right? It's almost like he's a liar who's ideologically captured, tribalist filled, and probably should see some consequences for his actions because he is supposedly part of the press. And again, you have to have freedom of the press, but you also have to make sure that the press doesn't lie. And if it does lie, immediate, severe consequences.
There's a reason why no law enforcement, absolutely not, in
Yeah,
the
exactly.
United States of America wear masks.
Exactly.
But for ICE agents, not even everybody in Customs and Border Patrol wear masks. It is specifically for this population. Why is that? We have to ask ourselves, why is it that you need...
We do have to ask ourselves, and the answer is very obvious. You people are violent lunatics, and you need to be stopped.
Cadre is mask wearing. It is because,
Jail.
I submit, they are doing work that is
As fast
inherently
as possible.
unpopular. They said they were going after the worst of the worst, and instead they're going after Rosa, the baker, or Pablo, the snow shoveler. It is a cop-out. I call on the president to end it. Stop sending
no, I guess
military units to
I was like,
enforce
can I not
this
just hard stout?
specific
But it's not
law.
there.
Be patient. You have stopped the supply.
But he has to have discrepancies in what he says, because he's ideologically captured. He's a tribalist who doesn't live in reality. So you gotta have contradictions in your speech because you don't live in reality.
Latinos on the street because they happen to be brown, and there's a probability or possibility that they're here without proper documentation. Sort out a chaotic system and make it fair.
Yeah, I've said that already.
I just think that what happened in Minneapolis was
Nobody gives a fuck about these people's emotions. How about logic and reason? That's what you gotta start from. I don't give a fuck like, oh my god, it looks so bad. I don't give a fuck how bad it looks. Was it justified? Was it legal? Answer, yes. End of story. That's where it stops for me. I don't give a fuck about your emotions. I don't give a fuck about my emotions. Emotions have nothing to do with any of this. And should not have anything to do with any of it. You argue from logic and reason. If you argue from emotion, you are a bad faith actor.
Always begins at home. Cozy Earth is my go-to for
I just wanted to quickly add parenthetically that I congratulate the young journalist who exposed the fraud in the Somali community in the Twin Cities. I thought it was really it was gutsy, ballsy, street reporting. I'd like to think that that's the kind of stuff that I was doing in the 70s.
Oh, it's Al Capone. Sorry, it wasn't Jimmy Hoffa, it was Al Capone.
The idea was to open the vault on live international television.
I'm Geraldo Rivera, and you're about to witness a live television event. A massive concrete vault has been discovered. Some think it belonged to none other than the notorious Al Capone. Well, tonight,
So
for the first
cringe.
time, that vault
This guy is performative as fuck, by the way. You can clearly tell.
Well, what happened that night?
This is not an authentic personality.
And made me the punchline of a million jokes, some of which are still being told. Here's a portion of the secrets of Al Capone's vault.
Now, what if you and I...
There's literally
There's an
nothing in
old
it.
stop sign.
At least up to...
Look at how cringe this is. They're like looking at the camera and everything. It's super fucking cringe. The dude is like the biggest joke in journalism of the last 60 years, right?
In the
Yeah.
80s and 90s.
What a moron.
That's what I felt.
You know, but a good was done. But I also submit that you guys go to any community in the country. We threw money at all of these nonprofits during COVID. The president and then first Trump and then Biden, all they wanted was the economy to stay whole during the epidemic. They threw money at everybody. They allowed people to take wheelbarrows full of federal cash out of the building without proper documentation or follow-up of any kind. There was, I think that what's happening with the Somali community will be replicated from coast to coast if we have any guts in the justice.
Yeah. Okay, I've got to leave it there. Tim, you've got to get off. Thank you all very much indeed for a fascinating debate. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, joining me now with his reaction to the shooting in Minnesota is the host of the Adam Carolla Show, Adam.
Alright, I'm pausing it here. I'm gonna go stuff my face with energy. Hail to you, champion. Oh, nice timing. Nice timing.
Time is money, friend.
Time is money, friend. Alright, boys. I'll be back. Hour or so, you know how it goes. Indeed. Oh, let me... Hang on. To the channel today. Enjoy.